This is Talksport, this is Hampden Park in Glasgow, and this is history. 150 years ago, 5 miles north of where we are, at the West of Scotland Cricket Club in Partick, 4,000 people paid a shilling each to watch what FIFA described as the first ever international football match. Scotland, captained by keeper Robert Gardner, faced England, captained by Cuthbert Ottaway. And despite England including 8 forwards in their lineup and Scotland fielding 6, it somehow finished goalless. International football was born, and so was an enduring, passionate, fierce rivalry. And so to mark the anniversary, the old enemy meet again in the unfriendliest friendly of them all. It's Scotland against England. It's a 7:45 kickoff, and it's live on Talksport.
Scotland, on the left, took the field against England on what was to be the greatest day for a quarter century in Scottish football.
You know how much the Scots want to beat England, maybe a little bit more than England want to beat the Scots.
The world champions have been beaten here at Wembley by a fine fighting Scottish side. Scotland slowing it down, taking the mickey out of this England side.
Ali MacLeod Scotland have gained their first victory over the old enemy since 1967.
We think for some reason it means more to us than it does to the English.
They invaded the pitch 10 years ago and they're here again. They've even knocked the goals down and broken the crossbar.
It means as much to big boots and guys like that, English guys, guaranteed.
I've had plenty of experience in this.
And I'm thinking, just hit it.
That's fine, you can finish it here!
I went to celebrate, and honestly, I wanted to look at Andy Gordon and say, oh, stick it up you know.
2 Englishmen against 3 Scots, but won by Shannon Clark. And Clark makes it 5 for England, but just look at those defenders.
Oh, what a strike from Harry Kane! England have the breakthrough.
You have to be ready for the opponent and the additional motivation that might exist with this sort of occasion, and we know what it means to our own supporters.
Met by McGinn! John McGinn has sealed the win for Scotland.
Proud to be the head coach of Scotland. Proud to lead this group of players. Hopefully they can make us all smile at the end of the game.
Welcome to the latest instalment of the world's oldest international fixture.
England versus Scotland.
Another blockbuster live on Talksport.
Well, good evening. I'm Adrian Durham for Talksport, proud to be on international duty, proud to be on England duty and on Scotland duty for the world's biggest and best sports radio station. Scotland-England memories there. Scotland uncrowned world champions in 1967, breaking the crossbar in 77. Dalglish through Clemence's legs the year before that. Euro 96, Gaza glory, and many, many more memories. Just watching the two teams warming up out on the pitch. The Scotland players just came out to rapturous applause from their fans that are inside Hampden already. Boos all round from what seemed like just a handful of people when the England keepers came out to warm up. That's the reception they will get in this stadium in Glasgow, and you don't need me to explain why. We'll speak to our special guest, former Scotland striker Chris Llewellyn and the former England captain Stuart Pearce shortly. It's Scotland the brave and Southgate the cautious. That's the feeling among the England fans who have called Talksport since Saturday's 1-1 draw in Poland against Ukraine, and since Scotland's comfortable win in Cyprus the night before. Scotland's Lion Rampant is living up to its name right now. So on a night when a result elsewhere could lead to the Scots qualifying for the Euros next summer, let's check on the two teams for this one with your commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Good evening, Adrian. This was always going to be much more than just another international friendly, and Scotland have named their strongest possible side as they aim to get one over England for the first time in the 21st century. Steve Clarke has picked the same 11 as he did in Cyprus, with 7 of the 11 having started the last game against the 3 Lions at the Euros 2 summers ago. England makes 6 changes to the side that played at the weekend. The players retained Walker, Gurhey, Rice, Bellingham and Kane. The captain starting a 14th consecutive international. It's the first Englishman to have that long a run for 5 years. It is the first game in 13 that Maguire hasn't started. He's replaced by Lewis Dunk, who wins his first cap since a match against the States in 2018. Aaron Ramsdale's last appearance came in the Nations League defeat to Hungary. So, these are the teams in full. Scotland have Marshall in goal, Porteous, Hendry and Tierney, 3 centre-halves, Hickey and Robertson at wing-back, Gilmore and McGregor in the centre of midfield, with McTominay and McGinn in support of Che Adams up top. Ramsdale's in goal for England, a back 4 of Walker, Dunk, Gurhey and Trippier. Phillips is in for Henderson alongside Rice and Bellingham in midfield, with a front 3 of Foden, Kane and Rashford. Only 4 of that side started the match between the two nations in the Euros. The entire England back 4 from that day is injured tonight. The benches: Scotland, McCrory and Clark, Suter, McKenna, Patterson, Christie, Armstrong, Ferguson, Jack and McLean, Dykes, Nisbet and Shankland. England, Pickford and Johnston, Chilwell, Colwill, Tamori, Maguire, Henderson, Gallagher, Eze, Maddison, Saka and Nketiah and Wilson. And tonight's referee is the Italian Davide Massa, and we do have VAR.
Jim, thank you very much. Chris Ewelamo was born around 10-11 miles east of Hampden Park in Coatbridge, played for St Mirren, St Johnstone and of course for Scotland. Actually, Chris, you played against Argentina in Maradona's first match in charge. And am I right in saying your first Scotland match as a fan, as a boy, was an England game?
That's correct, yes. So yeah, I don't want to dampen the mood. Yeah, my mother went into hospital for about 8 to 10 months. So I had to go, me, my brother, sister had to go live with my Uncle Jim and Auntie Anne. And the first game of football actually was Airdrie against Dundee, but the first international was Scotland against England, 1989. This man beside me was playing, unbelievable, Stuart Pearce, yeah. And fantastic memories, obviously. 2-0 defeat, but it's it definitely. And then the next time I came to Hampden Park, it was coming off the bench as a Scotland player. So it just shows you, yeah.
Incredible. First game as a fan watching Scotland-England, and back here as a player the next time. Incredible. Stuart Pearce played 78 times for England, and with him in defence, the Scots never scored against us in 3 meetings. Stuart, your second England international was here at Hampden against Scotland. You also played in that game at Euro 96 as well. How special is the Scotland-England rivalry to you?
Well, before we go on to that, Chris told me earlier that coming to watch us play and myself, it inspired him to want to beat up an England defender. You know what I mean, by watching me. Not really.
Good opportunity tonight.
I'm only joking. Yeah, I think this is a brilliant fixture. I was fortunate enough, this was my second fixture away at Hampden Park playing for England. Brilliant atmosphere, as they all are. Great memories of Euro 96 as well, and Gazza's goal and everything that went with it. But I think over the years when I used to watch football, you know, when they come down and, as Gareth said earlier, stole our goalposts, and I was a QPR fan, and Jerry Francis captaining England to an England victory against Scotland. Great memories of this fixture.
Your first 3 England internationals were Brazil, Scotland and Germany, weren't they?
Yes.
They don't come much older than that.
No, it wasn't San Marino 9-0 or whatever. You know,
it's an incredible trio, that. Chris, Scotland unchanged, and I'll let people into a secret. You predicted this earlier today. Why are they unchanged?
I think they've been that good. You know, I think Steve Clarke, he wants to measure his players, really test himself, see where they're at. The next 3 games, England, Spain, France, they're going to get asked a lot of questions, and I think he just wants to see the character, the quality of the players. Can they go out and play the way that they can? You know, I don't think it's about winning that possession game tonight, because we've shown already in this group against Spain, we can still go out and get the result, keep a clean sheet, even with, I think it was 82% possession against 18 in Spain's favour. I think England will dominate the game. I think they will, but again, very passive. They'll take a lot of confidence, I feel, watching the Ukraine-England game at the weekend. The way that England, okay, with the ball, but don't really get into that attacking third and create opportunities after opportunities with the amount of ball that they have. That's something that Scotland do very well. Very compact, hard to break down, and then with speed of thought, speed of movement, 3-4 passes, crosses coming in, opportunities on goal, and I feel that's the way that they'll be set up tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. So do you think this crowd might actually kind of force Scotland to come out and play on the front foot, and that might leave gaps for England to exploit?
The fans are outstanding. Yes, it's going to be a hostile environment, but the Scotland players, they can manage that, and I think they've shown that. I think the Scotland fans also understand it's England coming to town. That rivalry for me, it is more one way. For me as a Scot, love my country, you feel that tension. I came in with nerves, and I asked you were all very comfortable. I'm in many group chats with players that I played with, English players, and they all say, I think you might do us over tonight, but it's not too much of a big deal. But England have that pressure on them in every single game. They can come out into hostile environments and still play and still go out and get the result. So can we make a difference with that atmosphere, with that environment? Hopefully we can, but the players have to manage that. They have to feed off that and use it in the right way. Yes, not going to see a lot of the ball, but when they get it, we've shown already that we can be very effective.
Stuart Pearce, changes for England. 3 that I want to pick out, want your views on. Ramsdale in goal, Dunk at centre half, and Calvin Phillips is back in midfield. What do you make of those changes, Stuart?
Well, firstly, Gareth said there wouldn't be wholesale changes. This is a difficult game, and we've made 6, so that's a fair old amount. For me, he obviously wants to have a look at Dunk at centre half. He's been very patient and got his opportunity. I didn't know whether he'd play Maguire again because Maguire's not getting much club football, but it'd be interesting to see how Dunk does. Every time we've had a fixture and I thought he's going to change the goalkeeper, he hasn't done. So Ramsdale, for the form that he's been in over the last couple of years, he's probably very lightly raced cap-wise. So it's brilliant for him to come and get a big high-profile game like this one. And what was it? Oh, Phillips. Phillips just isn't getting football. So if you want him to be part of the squad, and Gareth's picked him as part of the squad, he, more than any player in this squad, needs 90 minutes for his development, because he just is not getting a kick of the ball at Manchester City at the moment. And how long this can go on for, I'm not sure. So these 90 minutes are invaluable for him.
Yeah, he's had one sub-appearance, Calvin Phillips, for Manchester City. He scored, not in the last England game, but in the North Macedonia 7-0. It was a tap-in, but he did get on the score sheet for England. Quick one, Stuart, on the keeper, Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, is he a serious contender for the number 1 jersey, or is it always going to be Jordan Pickford if Jordan's fit?
I think he's a serious contender, personally. I really do. You've got to give credit. It's a specialised position. Gareth likes Pickford. There was 1 or 2 voices, let's say, in time gone by suggesting that he wasn't England's number 1 and whatever. But the one thing he hasn't done, he hasn't let England down, Pickford. He's been pretty consistent with his feet, and he's got a good selection of clean sheets now behind him. So that they've got something to do. But if he picks an injury up going into a major tournament or before, you need goalkeepers certainly that have got caps experience and game experience, and tonight for Ramsdale, excellent opportunity.
Indeed, players are warming up, the crowds are filling the seats at Hampden Park. This is a special occasion, not just because it's the anniversary match, 150th anniversary heritage match, and it's the oldest rivalry, Scotland against England, but it's the fact that it's these two teams and there's no love lost ever between these two. This is a big one for Scotland, and you could argue there's a game in Oslo that's even bigger. Norway take on Georgia, a draw, and the Scots are through. Let's look ahead to this one with Talksport's Ian Danter.
It's hard to imagine that the Tartan Army's thoughts would be on anything other than defeating the old enemy this evening, but they could get some momentous news from Oslo later if events go Scotland's way. If Norway and Georgia were to draw in this Group A qualifier, it will confirm that Scotland will qualify for next summer's Euros. Tonight, any other result means that it will be October at the earliest when Steve Clarke's men can next try and confirm their spot in Germany. Norway and Georgia both on 4 points, just 2 behind second place Spain. Both have lost to the Spanish in the opening few fixtures of this group. Erling Haaland of Manchester City returns for Ståle Solbakkens Norway side. He was rested for Thursday's 6-0 friendly win over Jordan. Arsenal's Martin Odegaard also in the starting 11, whilst Georgia, coached by Willy Sagnol, are still licking their wounds from Friday's 7-1 home mauling by Spain. They will look to their talisman, Napoli's fleet-footed Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, to help them respond positively here. Big game for both countries, potentially a massive game, Adrian, for Scotland if it ends all square. At the Ullevall Stadium in Oslo, it's Norway versus Georgia.
Cheers, Dance. It could be a double celebration for Scotland win here, and of course that is a draw and they go through and qualify for the Euros. Or we could have that weird scenario of England winning here, Scotland qualifying with a draw in Oslo, and Scotland celebrating after being beaten by England. It will be a little bit surreal. Let's see what happens. And elsewhere, England's Group C opponents meet tonight. Italy versus Ukraine at the San Siro, Malta against North Macedonia at the National Stadium in Malta. Unless Ukraine and North Macedonia both win tonight, a point for England at home to Italy next month will be enough for England to secure qualification. And my hat is off to Jim Proudfoot's mega mind. He worked that one out. I used every single atom of my brain power to check it. I literally have nothing left. You're listening to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. In this big bowl of a stadium, the red and blue seats are being filled up as the two teams warm up on the pitch. On the big screens, they're showing Scotland goals against England. They've been playing Scottish music, Deacon Blue, Franz Ferdinand, just to get the crowd in the mood and behind Scotland tonight, like they needed some sort of motivation given their record in qualifying and the fact they can qualify if the result in Oslo goes their way tonight. Scotland-England coming up live on Talksport. Time now to get an odds update with Ladbrokes. Alex Apathy from Ladbrokes going to keep this simple. Scotland versus England. What do you think?
Yeah, Scotland showing goals against England. That's pretty quick montage, isn't it? It's not the best of records in recent years. Last 12 games, 1 win for them, 3 draws, and the rest are England victories. England odds on here 3-4 to win. Scotland 4-1, and the draw is 12-5. To be fair to them, they are flying in the Euro qualifications, aren't they? More points than England, 5 games, 5 wins. Just beat Cyprus 3-0. They're 80-1 to repeat that scoreline tonight, by the way, but it is going to be a pretty different game tonight, isn't it? Looking at the team sheets, Kane up front, he's 16-5 to score first, and maybe worth having a slight bet on Eddie Nketiah on the bench. If he does come on, you're getting 7-5 on him getting a goal at any time, and 7-2 for him to score the last goal of the game. But the best bet for me, yeah, I'll go with England to win and both teams to score then, 100-30.
Cheers, Alex. That was a look at the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+, begambleaware.org. Well, the first meeting 150 years ago between these two may have finished goalless, but the goals then flowed after that. 65 goals in the next 10 meetings between the two countries. There have been so many. We'll feature incredible encounters since then between Scotland and England. Let's feature a famous Scotland win shortly, but let's rewind 27 years first of all, when they met at Euro 96 and a certain Rangers midfielder did something that filled all English hearts with joy.
It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home.
I knew I hardly scored a goal against Andy Gorham in training anyway. Well, when I've seen him come, I've flicked it over perfect, and I'm thinking, just hit it.
Oh, here's Gascoigne. Gascoigne, he can finish it here! Paul Gascoigne! 2-0! Would you believe it?
And as I've smashed it, it's like dipped as well at the same time. And I've went to celebrate, and honestly, I wanted to look at Andy Gorham and say, oh, stick it up you lad. But I didn't, and I knew we'd be raging, but I just did the celebration.
If I'm honest, I didn't know that they'd been practicing that. You know, and obviously I'm right down the other end. I was just thinking, that is perfect, because that shows what we can do, and we can still have fun doing it.
You won't see a better goal than that in any international tournament.
Gazza's goal there just put to bed exactly any pressure Gazza was under, and it was cause for him to be left out of the squad and stuff like that. That goal would light up any tournament anywhere in the world, and that was the defining moment, I think, where the whole country got together.
Seaman at one end, Gascoigne at the other. An absolute glory for Terry Venable's team.
If we'd scored the penalty, we would have won the game. I don't have any doubts. We would have wanted to win the game. Missed the penalty. And then Gascoigne, unbelievable. And I was like, oh no, he's going to be unbearable in the dressing room next season. He's going to kill you. And the next season he's going to be unbearable.
Never stop me dreaming.
Wow, what a goal that was. Stuart Pearce, you started that game at Euro 96. And I've read your book about Euro 96. You call Gazza's goal the greatest England goal ever. Stand by that?
I think for the occasion, for the player, for the opposition, you throw all those things in the mix, I would say yes, it was the greatest goal.
An unbelievable finish. How did you feel as a teenager at that time, Chris Owellamo?
Yeah, it broke my heart. We were in Holland, sitting in under 18s in a 23 tournament in Holland, and we were all watching it. Broke my heart.
But high quality indeed, and it's amazing, Stuart, the moments in games. The McAllister penalty miss, seconds later the ball's bowled up to Gazza and he does what he does, and the fact that he played for Rangers at the time as well just added to the whole thing.
Yeah, there's so small margins in the game of football, it's incredible. I mean, Dave Seaman, wonderful save at the other end, ball movement as well, oscillating on the penalty spot by all accounts, you know.
Very strange.
Eerie, isn't it? And then up the other end, Gazza delivers something like that, you know, playing in Scotland as well. It was just made to be, let's say.
If you go back before that, Chris, in the 70s, England, having won the World Cup in 66, quarterfinals in 1970, didn't qualify in 74 and 78, and Scotland did qualify, and this puts the context behind Gareth Southgate saying he was supporting the Scots in those two World Cups, certainly in the 78 World Cup. Gareth and I are the same age, so we didn't know about England qualifying for World Cups. We'd never seen England in a World Cup. We were both one when England played in 1970, so all we knew was England don't qualify for World Cups and Scotland do. We got educated pretty quick.
Yes, very, very quickly. You know, I think, it just shows you, doesn't it? You know, I think it says about that he's a class act. Gareth Southgate supported Scotland, a home nation. I've got to say I'm very similar myself. If Scotland aren't involved in England, I want England, Wales, I want them all to do well in major tournaments. Not win it, but do well. Get into the later stages.
Lose the final, you mean?
Yeah, losing penalties.
So the last Euro final was
perfect. It was a perfect scenario for me. Perfect scenario, but
Thanks
you know
for
what? Nah, apologies, but yeah, you know what? It just shows you how far England have come. I think very easily since one of the most successful England managers, Gareth Southgate, and he's still getting criticised in the scrutiny that he gets. But this is the responsibility that comes with the pressure job of being England manager.
And that was, Stuart. You played in the Italia 90 semi-final. You played in the Euro 96 semi-final as well. And since then, there's been quarter-finals along the way. And then Gareth Southgate turns up. I think that some England fans are saying, with this group of players, we have Gaza-type players like James Maddison. They can perform, they can come up with something magical, and therefore that's why we should be playing better football with the attacking players we've got. Is that criticism valid?
I look at the whole process over many years. I mean, what tends to happen in the profession we're in, it's all one game at a time, and let's base everything on one game or 2 games or 5 games. I look at the whole process of what the managers achieved that uniting everything, from the media to the players to everything. Gareth's been part of, and he's overseen it, and he's also partly responsible for the under-21s winning this summer, the under-17s, the under-19s. All of that's under his watch. Don't ever lose track of that. And just carrying on from Chris's point about the home nations, me for one, I'll tell you what, if Scotland get there tonight, I'll be punching the air and get a major tournament. I love the home countries all getting to the major finals, because what their fans bring to it is brilliant. We saw it with Northern Ireland, the Scottish fans, the more the merrier.
I have to say the modern player has changed as well. Do you think Gaza was told, yeah, you can do this, do that? He was given a free rein, and I think that sometimes you have to give the likes of a Maddison, a Foden, that free rein to go out and just fuel the game. Put the players around them to kind of have that formation, that solidity. But then when it's on to play, when it's on for that little bit of magic, let them do what they can do.
Well, the Scotland players, a big roar a moment ago. That was the Scotland players leaving the field, going down the tunnel. The subs are now leaving. The England players are already back in the dressing room. This is kickoff at 7:45 here, live on Talksport tonight. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Less than 15 to kick off, and a banner across the way held by the Scotland fans says years of history, rivalry and passion. The flags are being raised, ready to be waved as the teams come out. And Flower of Scotland's going to be something very special tonight. You will hear it on Talksport. Time now to look at the latest football action with Ladbrokes.
Wembley. Bobby Moore and John Gregg were the captains. England versus Scotland. Neither Bobby, his team, nor England supporters believed Scotland had a chance. How wrong they were destined to be.
Oh, McCallion! Champions have been beaten here at Wembley by a fine fighting Scottish side. The final score, England 2, Scotland 3.
Well, one of Scotland's most famous victories over England, as the headline in the Glasgow Evening Times read that night, uncrowned champions of the world. Scotland came to Wembley, beat England 3-2. And it could have been more. It was less than 12 months since England had won the World Cup. In fact, the only change for England from that World Cup lineup was Greaves for Hunt, arguably a better 11. And Scotland went to Wembley and beat them by 3-2 and called themselves world champions. Well, you would, wouldn't you? The Scots, for whom Rangers legend Jim Baxter unplayable that night. Jim McCalliog scored there. He was brilliant as well. They celebrated a famous win, although they doubled up as home internationals and European Championship qualifiers. In the end, Scotland missed out on qualification to England after a draw here at Hampden Park. Chris Wellamo, former Scotland striker, is with us. Rod Stewart's here, actually. He's just had a picture taken with David Tanner. I think David Tanner had a picture taken with Rod Stewart, is how I should put it. Rod's here with his son Sean. He's predicted 3-0 to Scotland. There were 6 Scotland pundits in the Daily Record this morning that giving their predictions. None predicted an England win. There were 4 Scotland wins, 2 draws. Keith Jackson, a columnist in the Daily Record, said Scotland are capable of doing something truly special in Germany. Barry Ferguson, interviewed by David Tanner last night on Talksport, thinks Scotland will, quote, definitely get out of the group at the European Championships. He's even beyond the question of qualifying. So are Scotland being arrogant here?
Yes, I think, and I've earned the right to be. I think I've been that good, Adrian. The performances, whatever challenge has been thrown at them, they've delivered with a performance as well. Scoring 12 goals, conceding 1. I think that was a penalty against Norway, not even in open play. So I am quietly confident. We're in a very healthy position. And they have to. These are the games that you've got to thrive on. These are the games that you've got to go out there and perform, but also get the right result as well. And I feel with the confidence, the momentum in this group of players, the belief, they believe that they can go and turn England over tonight, definitely.
Well, Stuart Pearce, you can hear the noise from the Scotland fans. The stadium isn't even full yet. The George Cross is out on the pitch. The Scottish Saltire is out there as well. We're all getting ready for a big tifo, which will be across the way, which will electrify this stadium. Certainly the noise when the names of the Scotland players, Stuart, were read out was something else. That was powerful from the Scotland fans. Could be a 12th man tonight.
They've created a real great atmosphere here. Chris was telling us about it all afternoon, and certainly it's bared that out. There's no doubt. This fixture in itself brings atmosphere. On top of that, the team are playing outstandingly well at the moment and on the verge of getting to Germany next year. So good times for the nation.
The one way to quieten this crowd is to get the first goal, and then all of a sudden, it changes. If Scotland get the first goal, wait until you hear this place. Let's see the England players handle that pressure, which, to be fair, I have complete faith that they can, but let's test that character.
Well, let's test the defence. It's been built on solid defence. 9 clean sheets in 11 qualifiers for Scotland, which is ridiculous when you think about it. And one of the matchups tonight, highlighted in the papers, was Harry Kane. Can he get the better of Kieran Tierney? And going the other way, Scott McTominay, who's got more goals in qualifying than Harry Kane. Can he find room to get on the end of something for Scotland, which he has done in this qualifying campaign? That 3-man Scotland defence, is it going to be good enough to hold Harry Kane, who's world class?
Well, he is world class, an absolute physical specimen as well. Very, very intelligent football player. The one thing I will say is you have to give him the service, you have to give him the deliveries, and this is something that has been lacking with England. In wide areas, opportunity, don't shy away from putting the ball in. Jack Henry will have to double up, help the likes of Porteous, help the likes of Tierney, just to try and even then, with the power and the quality of Harry Kane, the movement, he knows exactly where the goal is. You cannot give him a minute, you cannot switch off for a second.
I think it's important as well, and Chris would know this slightly better than I, having played in that sort of point position that he does. They're going to have to get people from midfield or the wide areas in and supporting around, because as a lone striker against 3 central defenders, it's not easy.
Yeah, and they will. So when you look at the likes of Billy Gilmour and Callum McGregor, they do shield that ball into the striker. But the likes of Aaron Hickey, Robertson, they drop in. More so this evening, we're going to see a 5. But how quickly that 5 in that transition when they get the ball, Hickey with the energy, that relationship with Tierney and Robertson down the left-hand side, England have to think if they leave any holes in behind as well, Scotland can capitalise there. But yes, they have to stop that ball from coming into the body and feet of Harry Kane.
Well, across the way in this stadium, it's all blue with the numbers 150, 150 spelled out in gold. That's the tifo from the Scotland fans here tonight. And Chris Obama, you're right about that shield, and we're talking about Premier League players. Hickey on the right, Robertson on the left, Gilmour in midfield. Callum McGregor, the skipper, listen, he plays for Celtic. He's the only player from the Scottish Premiership in the Scotland side, which I find very interesting. He said this week the England-Scotland divide is always there in every aspect of life. It's his 55th cap tonight. He overtakes greats like Souness and Bremner tonight, and that's something else. He's level with Dennis Law.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fast becoming a Scotland legend. If they can do something in a major tournament, he may well become a Scotland great. How important is he as a leader, not just a midfielder, a leader for this team?
For me, Adrian, I think he is the most important player. I think he's the best player in the Scotland squad. I think he takes, if I want to compare him to an English player, I'd say Paul Scholes. I think with the technical ability that he's got, the movement, the eye, he can see a pass and execute it as well. But his leadership qualities, you cannot look past that. The way that he gets the players up, he puts the demands on them, and he delivers as well. He leads by example, and he's so important tonight, and that relationship is going to be very, very evident with Billy Gilmour tonight.
As the pyro shoots into the sky, that's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org. Well, I mentioned the flags flying, the Lion rampant away to our right and to our left, the Scottish Saltire as well. There's a section of England fans, all have George Cross flags draped over their section as the players come out onto the pitch, music on the pitch, pyro on the touchline, and the fans loud and proud in the stands here at Hampden Park, because this is a very, very special occasion. These old enemy games really are always special, regardless of whether you think it's a so-called friendly or what. Scotland against England here tonight. They're all lined up behind the Scottish flag, behind the English flag, and we are getting ready for the national anthem of England. Obviously, Scottish fans didn't like that. There's a huge banner in the middle of the pitch. There's only one Craig Brown, the former Scotland manager, who passed away recently. He would love this rendition you're about to hear of Flower of Scotland. If the players perform anything like those fans just performed, England are in for a tough night. If you think this is a friendly, then most Scots would call you a walloper, a roaster, a dafthy or an idiot. Any danger of this being a friendly? It's the oldest football rivalry. It's Scotland against England, and it's live on Talksport with former Scotland striker Chris Sawilamo, former England captain Stuart Pearce, and your England commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you. Welcome to the latest page in the history of the world's oldest international fixture. A rivalry that began across town on St Andrew's Day in 1872, the 150th anniversary of which is being recognised today. 3 months later, they reconvened at the Oval in London and England won, but it was Scotland who held the upper hand in the fixture, leading the series from 1876 all the way through to 1980. Little could they have seen just how the rivalry would escalate and endure. It's a rich history, enhanced by the passage of time, and the fact that what was a biennial perennial is now seldom seen. Each meeting bathed these days in a fresh intensity, born of its scarcity. The 116th instalment of football's original rivalry about to get underway. Scotland line up with Gunn in goal. Porteous, Hendry and Tierney. Hickey, Gilmore, McGregor and Robertson. McTominay and McGinn and Adams. For England, it's Ramsdale, Walker, Gurhey, Duncan, Trippier, Phillips, Rice and Bellingham, Foden, Kane and Rashford. Well, that first meeting of the two nations was goalless, but the enmity has been punctuated by jaw-dropping moments in the intervening years. Scotland's Wembley Wizards of the late 20s, England's 9-3 in the early 60s. Scotland, unofficial champions of the world in 67. Ali's Army ripping it up in 77 and their fans doing likewise. And of course Gazza's defining moment in 1996. But before this latest instalment starts, we will pause for a moment's silence. Firstly, to remember the former Scotland manager Craig Brown, and also those who've lost their lives in the tragedies of Morocco and Libya. Some regrettable and unnecessary noise around the stadium and some parts of the stadium during that tribute. So we're about to get underway. Scotland, dark blue shirts, white shorts, red socks. England, white shirts and blue shorts. Scotland will kick from left to right, defending the West Stand here at Hampden Park. For only the sixth time in 24 years, the old enemies meet. Friendly? No. This is much, much more. There's the Hampden Roar that greets the start of Scotland against England. Now we're underway. Long ball pumped forward towards the edge of the England penalty area that's brought under control by Declan Rice. Marker, he who ran in five, but starting on the left of the two centre-halves, gives Lewis Dunk his first international touch for some 5 years. Back it goes for Rice. Rice just outside his own penalty area as he prepares to control this, bring it under control. Back it goes for Ramsdale, who looked to go long. Scotland pressing with an intensity, England playing out under immediate pressure. Phillips heading it forward towards Bellingham, and then Phillips winning the loose ball back in the midfield and working it wide for Kyle Walker. First opportunity for the England right back to make his way forward. Scotland back in a defensive shape very quickly. Walker can't make any significant progress. Now he can roll it through inside the area. Kane have made a run, but from an offside position. We're a minute in. It's Scotland 0, England 0. Alongside me, we'll hear from Stuart Pearce in a moment. But firstly, good evening, Chris. How well am I?
Yeah, well, I have to say, I think Scotland have had two opportunities, even from the Tierney, straight from kick-off. Go, the ball's in the air long enough. Go and challenge. Win that first header. Win all those little battles. Jack Kenny has an opportunity there just to keep possession of the ball, just fire it into the likes of Callum McGregor in the midfield. And again, it's a misplayed pass, and straight away you're defending again. Now tonight you're going to concede possession. You're not going to see a lot of it. When you have it, you have to be better with it.
I think England do have a lot of the ball, Stuart. That is one area that England fans are hoping is better than it was at the weekend, and the England coaching staff will be as well, where England dominated the possession in Wrocław against Ukraine, but by Gareth Southgate's own admission, it didn't really click in the final third, and he'll be wanting some significant improvement on that tonight.
We certainly will. I think our defensive side of our game and build-up was okay, but from midfield onwards there wasn't enough cutting edge by any means.
Walker trying to drive forward, wins the first corner of the night, which comes off Andy Robertson, backtracking on the left-hand side of his own penalty area. And it will be a corner that will be taken on the England right-hand side. Kieran Trippier will go out to take it.
I think it's interesting. I mean, at the start of the game, the anthems and everything, there was an atmosphere around the stadium. Scotland have got to be careful they don't show too much respect for England for the sake of the game. As you mentioned earlier, Chris, when that ball's in the air, the first challenge, whatever, it's not been there at the moment.
No, you're spot on. Even there, Kyle Walker driving. Andy Robertson, he's 3-4 yards away. He's waiting for that ball to go in behind. Someone, he needs a little bit of help and double up. Can Tierney go out and give him a little bit of support there?
Slight delay before this England corner. Two players making runs from the edge of the penalty area. That's the intention. It's delivered over them out towards Declan Rice, unmarked left-hand side of the box. He's Stinkter, high ball back in. Out comes Gunn as well, punches it clear. Back out towards Trippier on the England right-hand side, the corner taker. He goes to Phillips. Phillips in turn for Walker, the deepest lying of England's outfield players, but he's still 10 yards inside Scotland territory. Phillips has it now inside the centre circle. Marcus Rashford, who's scored in each of his last 3 England starts, waits patiently for a ball to be played in his direction on the left-hand side, but Rice just goes back for Walker. England will be more than happy to try and take the sting out of the game in these early stages by dominating the opening spells of possession. Another ball intended for Foden this time down the inside right channel is overhit. It's a pass that England have already, inside the opening 3.5 minutes, looked for a couple of times, trying to get the ball in between Tierney and Hendry in the Scotland back line.
Yeah, well, that's where the space is, Jim. You know, I think Aaron Hickey and Robertson are not in line. It's not a straight back 5. They are a little bit advanced, so that ball with quality down both flanks can cause problems. Angus Gunn there, very, very strong, made a decision early to come out and make a contact.
He's winning his 6th cap for his country tonight. All of them have come this year. Angus Gunn, born in England, his dad, a very proud Scotsman, also won 6 caps. Brian, I know, extremely proud of the fact that Angus has switched nationalities and is now playing for Scotland. And he's had a very good start to his international career as well, just conceding the 1 goal up to this point, which came from a Haaland penalty. There's a game Scotland won in Norway. Remember, if Norway against Georgia is a draw tonight, then Scotland will have qualified for the Euros. We'll keep you updated with all of the action from that game in Oslo. The other game in Scotland's group tonight, Spain against Cyprus in Granada. 2 games in England's group tonight, both with big implications as well. Italy taking on Ukraine in Milan, Malta against North Macedonia in Takali, and England by the end of the night may well be in a position where they only need a draw against Italy, live on Talksport next month, to also qualify. Here's Ramsdale playing out from the back. It's 0-0 with 5 minutes gone here at Hampden Park on Talksport. Jim Proudfoot, Chris Uwalimo and Stuart Pearce talking you through the action. 2 of the 3 of us have played for our countries. Ball played down towards Rashford, left-hand side of the penalty area. He's trying to find a way through. Past Porteous, he was claiming there was a little double ricochet, but a corner has been given by the Italian referee on the left.
I think this is what England have got to do more of, that frustrated us so much against the Ukraine. You know, we got the ball into the mid-band and never played those passes that were going to turn the opposition's back line down. They've already played that ball 4 times, 3 on the right, 1 on the left, and it's forced corners.
Now Trippier on corner-taking duty from both flanks tonight, certainly initially. And Phil Foden offering himself for the short one, and McTominay's keeping an eye on that. But it's going to be a right-footed in, swinging delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box, very easily repelled. Good header away though. Back out towards Trippier. Trippier for Calvin Phillips. Phillips dinking it over the top and headed away again, this time by Hickey, and out of play for another corner, which will be taken on the England right this time. 6 minutes gone, and England have won 3 early corners.
Yeah, England just, every time they get a corner, they can afford to push in. Every England player, by the goalkeepers, within, 30 metres of the Scotland goal, they can do that because of Cole Walker's pace. It gets them out of so much trouble.
Now, Walker's starting position as the deepest of England's outfield players is still only 8 yards outside the area as the corner comes in. And Lewis Dunk is very adept at attacking those in the Premier League games. Slightly off balance by the time it got to him in the far post area. And it's gone behind and out of play for a goal kick. 7 gone, Scotland 0, England 0 here on Talksport. England turning over possession again. Foden with a clever little back heel flick down the right-hand side. Bellingham able to help it on. Walker just wanted a little bit of thinking time before delivering. Didn't really have it. He ends up getting a throw. Scotland feel that it should be a free kick over on the far touchline, and that Walker was guilty of a foul. He then took the throw quickly with a Scotland player still down injured over on the far touchline, but Big Massa, the referee, was having none of that, and they said you'll have to wait. Well, now that Tierney's back on his feet, play can continue. He's back up without the need for any treatment here in Tierney. Playing his club football in Spain this season, having moved on loan from Arsenal to Real Sociedad, where he's made the 1 appearance so far. England with the throw go way back inside their own half. Dunk to Gurhey. One of the more inexperienced centre-half partnerships that England have fielded in recent times. Just the 2nd cap for the Brighton man tonight, while it's number 6 for Gurhey. So only 8 between them. Walker wins a throw. Wasn't necessarily his intention coming back. It's flicked off McGinn as he Look to play back towards Duncan. Goes out of play for an England throw midway inside their own half. 8 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, England have definitely started the better, more comfortable. Scotland a little bit frantic at the minute, not seeing a lot of the ball, but when they get the opportunity, giving it straight back to England. If it's a poor pass, poor decision making, or even poor positioning, the levels have to rise.
Phillips flicking it over his shoulder. He's delighted to be back playing football. He's seen only 6 minutes of first team action for Manchester City this season. He sprayed a pass out towards the left-hand side for Rashford, but missed him. And he goes out for a throw that'll be taken on the Scotland right-hand side. And Ryan Porteous will come across to take it. England coming into this on the back of 4 wins in 5. Scotland one better. 5 wins in a row. First time they've won 5 in a row, and scored more than 2 goals in each of those games for 74 years. So this is literally generational form that Scotland are showing at the moment. Still 0-0 in that crucial game between Norway and Georgia that we're keeping an eye on tonight, incidentally. And that's a game that the Scots are desperate to end all square. Here's Porteous back inside his own half. Hendry, who's playing his club football out in Saudi Arabia now after a £6 million move over the summer. Rice is able to intercept a through ball and turn it down towards Marcus Rashford. Rashford can turn, driving, can't get past Porteous, and then a good turn in the midfield, slightly too good for Callum McGregor, and Bellingham wins a free kick on halfway.
Well, it was a great opportunity there for Porteous just to fill that one in behind. McTominay made an excellent run. It's just that quality of pass as well. Declan Rice intercepted it, and like you say, keep possession of the ball and win themselves a free kick on the halfway line.
Tierney back to Bellingham. Bellingham inside his own half for Mark Gurhey. With 84% of the possession up to this point, but it's a lot of it in good areas. It's all what you do with it. They haven't forced Gunn into anything of note at all so far. Just the one very well dealt with corner that he came out and punched. But other than that, England are dominating possession, but it's not a means to an end so far. It's a throw which will be taken over on the Scottish left. They take a short into the feet of McGregor and then back for Tierney. Henry for Porteous inside the centre circle. The Watford defender just bringing it back towards the halfway line before turning forward again for Celtic's Callum McGregor. Movement came down the line from McGinn, but the ball has been switched back through a midfield area and then behind Porteous, and Gunn's going to be able to come out and mop up. 10 gone, 0-0 Stuart.
Yeah, we've just seen an action there by Robertson that was perfect for what the game needed at that moment in time. Walker's got the ball and he's just run at him at sprint pace and put him under pressure.
Now Rashford will chase the ball that's played forward. Gunn comes out, deals with it very well. Offside flag up anyway.
And not only has he done that, he's ended up getting his team a throw-in, gives the crowd a lift, gets his team on the front foot, and that was probably the most offensive action that Scotland have played in these first 11 minutes, and I think they should do a little bit more of that.
Now, one of the other games in England's group, Malta 0, North Macedonia 1. From an England perspective, England will only need a point at home to Italy next month to qualify if Ukraine and Macedonia don't both win tonight, but North Macedonians are already ahead. Ukraine against Italy is 0-0. Both the games in Scotland's group also goalless at the moment. The only other qualifying goal so far tonight, Belgium leading Estonia 1-0. And night falling here in southern Glasgow with 12 minutes gone at 0-0 as the ball is played for. It's a good turn. Kane able to get across, but he couldn't get past Porteous. Read the situation really well. And it's potentially damaging there for Scotland with Henry having been caught and turned. Kane bulldozing past him. Porteous swept up. Now Scotland will break forward. The offside flag may come up to restrict this attacking phase, and indeed belatedly it does. Free kick to England.
Well, Scotland can't defend like that. It's 3 for 3 with 3. It's a straight ball over the top. Henry mistimes it. Kane, he reads the flight of the ball ever so well, but Porteous, fantastic defending, seen the danger, got himself, anticipated it, got himself over there and intercepts that, but they cannot go 3 for 3. You've got Porteous on Rashford at this side, Henry on Kane, and Tierney on Foden at the other side. It's a straight ball over the top. There wasn't any special movement, no quality. It was just a direct ball that was timed wrong by Jack Henry.
Italy lead Ukraine by a goal to 0. Davide Frattesi is the man that has scored that goal. 13 minutes gone. Scotland 0, England 0. in the company of Chris Wellamo, the former Scotland international, the former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside me as well, with Mark Gurhey in possession for England, brought forward towards Calvin Phillips. Phillips back inside his own half for Ramsdale, winning his 4th cap tonight. Clean sheets in the first 2, but shipped forward home to Hungary in the last one. Foden playing the ball forward, but that's easily cut out at the back by Billy Gilmour, stepping up and through the midfield. Hickey back for Porteous, had time for the second touch. Gilmour's got it now. Gilmour on the stretch, did well to divert it past Foden, and now Scotland will be able to get going down the left hand side with Tierney finding Robertson. Robertson's ball in, the off balance Gurhey able to steer it away before he got to Shea Adams. Big appeals for a Scotland free kick, and the referee, having had a little bit of deliberation, has given the free kick Scotland's way. 8 yards outside the penalty area, left of centre, Stuart Pearce.
I'm thinking this game, and what I've seen at the moment, Jim, is going to hinge on which team play the best quality ball in and beyond the opposition's defence, and who make the best runs. Because at the moment, both teams have looked to play that ball in behind, and if you get that right tonight, you'll end up being the victor.
Down that left-hand side when Andy Robertson there, he's got his head up, Tierney's breaking his neck to get in behind. Just take another touch forward, wait a pass in behind, he's trying to fire it into Shea Adams' feet. You know, I think it's, if anything, hang the ball up. One of those fight balls, really put the defenders at the defensive line under a little bit of pressure there, but fantastic anticipation from Callum McGregor there, going and trying to contest it and, like you say, winning the free kick.
Alan Ramsdale standing with his back against his right-hand post, asking for 3 in the wall. Gilmour and Robertson, the 2 Scotsmen standing over this set piece, just slightly left of centre, and it's pretty much at the limit of range. I mean, the wall is 4 yards outside the box, so it's the thick end of 35 yards out here. Well, an opportunity to dink it in for the aerial challenges. Robertson, Porteous coming to attack it. Who's got his head to it just. Phillips won the seconds inside his own penalty area, and Walker's more than happy to hammer it clear. Kane will chase after it. Robertson back defending, has sold his goalkeeper short. No, not quite. Gunn read it really well and got outside the penalty area in time to clear.
You've got to give Dunk credit there. He followed the run, and it was a great ball into a really good area for Scotland. But Dunk just saw it out and got the first contact.
Here's Dunk at the back for England. And playing it for Rice, and then Phillips out to the right-hand side. Walker's miscontrol is a moment that's accompanied by howls of delight and derision from the Scottish faithful here. A crowd of about 51,000 here at Hampden Park tonight. Here's Andy Robertson, played out to the Scottish left. 2 inside the penalty area, including Scott McTominay, who's been in such wonderful goal-scoring form, but they don't get a chance to deliver. Andy Robertson was the pass, but it just went past him briskly. And he goes out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Ramsdale for England. We're 16 minutes in, and having weathered the early storm, it's been a better 3 or 4 minute spell for Scotland, and a little bit more proactive and on the front foot.
Yeah, definitely. I think a little bit more quality as well. Callum McGregor, Andy Robertson and McGinn linking up very well. Again, turning down the opportunity to put the ball in the box. And yeah, ask the question. You know, it's you've got players in there that can go and win those aerial duels, keep the ball alive, never shy away from putting the ball in the box.
McTominay, Robertson, and then McGinn trying to work it back into his path. Dunk gets it away, it'll almost immediately come back. Gilmour doing well. There's a strong challenge from Declan Rice in the midfield on McTominay, well timed. England might have a chance for the counter attack. Kane didn't make the run Rashford was anticipating, and it just goes through to the edge of the Scotland penalty area. Real harem-scarum stuff in the heart of that midfield battle. It was 0-0 the last time the two sides met. England had hit the post by now through John Stones, but despite having overwhelming possession that day at Wembley, England, like Scotland, only managed 1 shot on target in that game. At the 5th meeting, this is the 6th between the two sides this century. England have won 3 of the first 4. Ball played forward here by Gurhey. Good strong header back by Porteous. Phillips trying to get it over the top. Rashford might be offside here. Flag stayed down for now. He'll cut onto his right foot and then work it back in for Foden, who skies it over the bar.
Yeah, it's that sort of pass that we've just seen there. A simple ball, nice and composed by Phillips. Just helped it on over the top of the Scottish back line, and with the pace that the likes of Rashford has got, he was straight onto it.
I think England out of possession of the ball. You look at Rashford, he's just going in and helping Bellingham, and Foden on the other side as well, just smothering Billy Gilmour, Callum McGregor, not allowing them to go on the ball. They have to figure out a way. They have to figure out a way to get the space and receive it and turn and just keep possession. But England without the ball have been very, very good.
You're listening to Talksport. It's been a superb day of coverage today. On my way up here to Glasgow, thoroughly enjoyed listening to Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning with Andy Townsend, David Moyes joining them, and Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou on with White and Jordan as well. A vibrant atmosphere here at Hampden Park. Scott McTominay's pass was just kept alive by Gilmour, who looked second favourite for a moment, but still got there first. Payne will put a bit of pressure on Gunn, but Gunn can get it away. Trippier playing it left back again today, can step forward and try and flick it forward. And it's come off McTominay last and gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England left hand side by Trippier, who has played out left back in 10 of his last 21 internationals, so pretty much as much time on the left in the recent past as he has on the right for England, covering almost as a sort of first reserve on either side these days seems to be the role that he's casting. Here's Lewis Dunk for England, finding Mark Gurhey. Back he goes for Dunk again, played forward very cleverly between the lines where Kane had dropped off, and he'll now stab one over the top. Rashford again, may well be offside, but the Italian assistant referee's kept his flag down for now. Rashford with a clever little back heel flick, Bellingham going forward, and the challenge came in on him from Porteous, and then the assistant referee puts his flag in. We do have VAR tonight, and that will be certainly instrumental in the fact that the flags are being heavily delayed, as is the jurisdiction, but these aren't even particularly close, Stuart.
No, we're calling them straight away from up here in the 3 or 4 that have happened already, and we can see it. But listen, if that's the laws of the game to keep the game flowing, so be it, I suppose. But unfortunate there.
But when it's as blatant as that,
exactly.
Porteous could injure Rashford there, and I just don't understand it. You can see by the cut of the grass that Rashford's clear offside.
It stays 0-0. Now Porteous will chip the ball forward with 20 minutes in, and the chances at a real premium so far here on Talksport. Ryan Porteous again getting it clear, but Gurhey watches that out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the England left-hand side. Scotland have won their last 6 home games. They've got a really good record here at Hampden. They haven't won 7 in a row since 1997. If they can achieve it tonight against the old enemy, it would be so sweet. Best run here for 26 years. Gurhey looking long this time. Foden making a good run. Great control as well. Bringing it down on the top of his left boot. He's spun it out towards the right-hand touchline, taking it away from Tierney. Now Declan Rice is involved. Bellingham will be able to take it on. He's had a quiet start. Played into the feet of Foden. I think he was looking for Walker, and Foden intercepted the pass. Back he comes for Bellingham again now. Calvin Phillips inside the centre circle. And then Phillips will get a return ball from Dunk and try and play a more progressive one now forward towards Harry Kane. Kane forced back by McTominay. Only has the 2 centre-halves behind him from an England perspective. That's how far he's dropping off. Dunk will get it forward. Looking for Foden between the lines. Foden losing out. McGregor did really well. Now we'll play it out towards the Scottish left-hand side. Gilmour. Back he goes for Tierney. Tierney towards the edge of the D for Jack Hendry. Hendry down towards Porteous. Hickey wanting to make a run forward. It's steered instead towards Che Adams on one of those nights where he's glad he's not getting paid by the touch tonight. There's still a looseness, a little bit about England in the midfield, where Phillips, having had possession, worked it back for Ramsdale. Ramsdale to Dunk. And the intensity of the Scotland press is just asking a few isolated questions of England here. A couple in the team that don't look particularly happy with the ball at their feet, with Scotsmen bearing down on them in this way.
Got to say, they played some brilliant 1 and 2 touch to get out of potential problems on that occasion, Jim. Once again, just prior to that, another raking long pass over the back of the Scottish back line. Foden on this occasion, well-timed run. And if I was playing in the England side now, my first look would be beyond the opposition's defence.
Yeah, it's on every time. I think Hickey and Robertson are taking a more advanced, so it's basically 3 for 3. So if you're marking your man, it's impossible if the ball's perfect. It's a running race.
So is that too much of a risk in your eyes, then, the Steve Clarke tactic to do it like that?
Well, I think the players have been told to do that because it keeps them on the front foot. But with the quality of England, if there's no pressure on the ball, I think the likes of Hickey and Robertson have to then drop if there's no pressure on the defensive player in England when in possession.
England still have it. They've had it for the vast majority of the game so far, but it remains 0-0 here on Talksport. Mark Gurhey to his right-hand side for Lewis Dunk. Elsewhere, North Macedonia leading away to Malta in England's group. The big game as far as Scotland are concerned, Norway against Georgia in Oslo, is still 0-0. Draw there tonight and Scotland are through with 3 games to spare in their qualification group. Bellingham made a good third-man run through the midfield that time, but there was no through ball forthcoming. England still have it. Now Bellingham makes another run. It's an excellent ball to find it from Rashford. Chipped it inside the penalty area. Walker arriving, unmarked. Right-hand side of the area. Drives it across the face of goal. And just wide. Only a half chance, but the best moment either side had created. And Walker, having scored his first international goal the other night in Wrocław, could have made it 2-2.
Yeah, once again, it's a really good diagonal ball in behind the opposition. Great run from in to out, but once again, you don't look, it's not a tactical thing. If you're a defender, you've got to pick these runs up. That's the bottom line. You've got to pick a run up if someone's running in behind you, so you've got to give yourself that extra yard.
Gunn gets it away for Scotland. 4 towards halfway. Shea Adams had very little change out of Gurhey so far. But Scotland do win the seconds in the midfield this time, and it's worked forward down the left by McGinn. Robertson winning a throw, which will be taken level with the edge of the England penalty area. He's taking it quickly as well. Back for Tierney. Tierney leaving it for McGregor, his former Celtic teammate. Now Scotland working it with McTominay, who's playing a slightly different role in this game than he did against Cyprus. He's not quite got the licence to push forward so much and be in such immediate support of Shea Adams as he was in that game. Down the right-hand side of the forward 3, really. England will be able to get it away. And again, the whistle has gone. And it's going to be an England ball over on the far touch. So 25 minutes in, Chris Uelemo, it's 0-0.
Yes, on that one, Jim, I think when Callum McGregor finds himself in a more advanced position, it's good professionalism there from Scott McTominay. He drops to be the deepest midfielder just to give an option. And I think Callum McGregor, for me, is probably the most comfortable player to receive the ball in those little pockets. So it's part and parcel. They have to rotate it. And if Callum McGregor finds himself in that advanced area, then it's down to the likes of McGinn or McTominay to go and get himself line with Gilmour.
Now England will look for a long ball over the top again, and Gunn will come and clear. Really fine touch, not quite. Trippier beating McTominay in the air, and then Gilmour heads it down towards the touch line, and that'll be a Scotland free kick for a foul by Bellingham, and there's been a goal in that game in Oslo. Talksport's Ian Danter.
Norway 1, Georgia 0, 26 gone. It just had to be Erling Haaland, didn't it? Firm header at the far post after some lovely wing trickery from 18-year-old Antonio Nusa, and his cross found Haaland perfectly. Norway 1, Georgia 0.
Thanks, thank you. England will be able to bring it away. Bad news that as far as Scotland are concerned. Desperately hoping now for a Georgia equaliser. England on the front foot, and the space for Walker, and Bellingham's found him, and Kane's in the middle, but the ball didn't get there. Good sliding challenge puts it away. There was good covering by Hendry, but at the expense of another corner.
Tell you what, England played some absolute top quality football, straight through the thirds there, incisive football, forward attacking football, the stuff we probably didn't see in the Ukraine, because the game opened up slightly there, didn't it? And Scotland probably got a taste of, if you open up against us, this is what's going to happen.
So this is England's 4th corner, and like 2 of the previous 3, it'll be taken on the right flank. Swept in, left-footed, deep towards Harry Kane, didn't get there, headed away. Rice is controlled, just let him down very slightly. It bobbled off his right foot and goes back for Kieran Trippier. Trippier to Walker, and then back for Trippier again. Now to Declan Rice. right on the halfway line as he lays it back for Kieran Trippier. 28 minutes gone. Scotland 0, England 0. Tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil and Rangers legend Ali McCoy's back on Talksport Breakfast from 6. Win or lose or draw tonight. Can't miss their reactions tomorrow on Talksport. If Scotland beat England, do you think they'll mention it? That's the big question. It's Phil Foden. Takes it forward towards halfway. Kyle Walker has been given plenty of attacking licence down that right flank so far and has been played into some good positions, but England haven't quite been able to make the most of them. Walker's got it again now, faced up by McGinn. He goes back behind square for Phillips. Phillips in turn to Dunk, and he'll go all the way back for Ramsdale. Ramsdale just taking a touch and then a second, and then side-footing it calmly out to the right-hand side of the penalty area where Dunk's ball forward wasn't the best. It's hit McGregor, but goes out of play for an England throw.
Well, that was just excellent to watch from a Scotland point of view there. I think, Phillips goes back to Dunk. It's a poor pass. He turns and goes in behind straight away as a collective. The full team follow Callum McGregor. He's leading the line. He's putting the pressure on the defensive line, stepping up. All the distances between the lines were spot on.
There's a Scotland side have won 15 of the last 21 games, which is a stunning record. Almost in a position to make that 16 out of 22 there with a throw that was taken briskly back for Ramsdale. And as he controlled it, he was put under immediate pressure, but he was able to play out from the back relatively comfortably. Gurhey then sends an excellent crossfield ball out towards Walker, and a lot of England's players gravitating through him at the moment on the far touchline, the England right, just in front of the north stand. Back it goes for Gurhey, down towards Trippier. Trippier taking a touch with his right and then passing it with his left. Back for Mark Gurhey again. Gurhey back towards Dunk. Dunk finding Phillips inside the centre circle, and now out towards Walker. The ball is stopped for a good couple of seconds before Walker, just trying to draw Tierney into a challenge, played it back. Dunk again to Gurhey. And England have slowed this down pretty much to walking pace again. The ball literally stationary for a couple of seconds before Dunk side-footed it forward, that time towards Phillips. Phillips now towards Bellingham with the quick feet in the midfield, and he got past one, but not Hickey. And the free kick eventually is given Scotland's way. Gilmour beaten. Hickey came back and remedied the situation for Scotland. Bellingham then fouled Gilmour. And the free kick is taken by Scotland just inside their own half. We're half an hour through it. And it's 0-0. What have you made of the opening half hour, Chris Wellerman?
Yeah, well, I think Scotland at the minute, they're having their moments. Still, I need a little bit more quality in that attacking third. What I have to say is Bellingham, Rashford and Foden, very, very compact. And even when they're in possession of the ball, trying to find those little pockets.
Scotland will be able to bring it forward now down their left. Over on the far touchline, back he goes for McGregor. 0-0 here on Talksport. McGregor, chance for Robertson to deliver. High ball just too high for Scott McTominay, waiting on the edge of the 6-yard box. It swung past everybody and goes out of play for a throw on the England left. One of the games in England's group. Italy leading Ukraine now by 2-0 in Milan. That's a Frattesi goal again. He scored them both. And actually ostensibly good news for England, because it does mean, if it stays that way, that England will only need 1 point in their next game at home to Italy, live on Talksport on October the 17th, to make it through to Euro 2024. Scotland hoping to be there tonight, but Norway lead Georgia at the moment in the game. The Scots need to end as a draw. Foden, right hand side of the penalty area. This one all square at the moment as well. Bellingham, twisting, turning, little ball flick forward. Rashford back out towards Walker, drives it in, and he's taken deflection off Phil Foden to give England the lead. England with football inside the Scotland penalty area. 5-6 passes. Rashford potentially in an offside position as he linked up the play. But as Walker drove it in, Foden was onside, and he's there to flick it in past Gunn. And it's Scotland 0, England 1.
Yeah, the build-up was good, but once that ball arrived on the edge of the box, it was too many Scottish players just transfixed on the ball and not staying with runners, and it was too easy. Foden come inside into Bellingham, and then they just picked a simple pass through the back line, and too many players wrong side of the ball. and Walker's got an eye for a goal now and's looking to whether he was shooting or whether he was passing, who knows.
That's an excellent reaction from Foden. He knows exactly where the goal is and just kind of steers at goals there. You know, I think all the power was in the shot from Walker there. Yeah, it's definitely a shot. It's an excellent touch from Phil Foden.
Well, it was close to being offside. There were two defenders almost level with Marcus Rashford as he linked up the play. One of them stepped forward. Robertson was a little bit slow in getting forward. The VAR still having a look at it. That shows how tight it is. And the referees are going to give the signal for the game to restart. He does. The goal stands. Phil Foden. His fourth goal for his country as he starts his first international since the World Cup quarter-final defeat to France. One Manchester City player has found another, however inadvertently, to give England a 1-0 lead. Scotland 0, England 1 on Talksport.
Yeah, as I say, the little balls either slid or long balls in behind. As long as England keep making those runs, I think they'll cause a problem to Scotland. I just want to touch on Mark Gahey at the moment. I think he had a decent game against Ukraine. I think he's played his way into the game very, very composed in the game tonight. You know, comfortable on the ball, knocks it around and done his defensive work pretty well.
Bellingham, Rashford, England looking for a quick second, having broken the deadlock 13 minutes before half-time. Trippier now play down the left-hand side for Rashford. Rashford getting a return ball, protecting it well around the edge of the penalty area. Phillips joins in. He can chip it down towards Jude Bellingham. Bellingham taking it on towards the left-hand side of the box, then twisting and turning, getting the better of Hickey. Back heel flick. Foden into a dangerous area. And Robertson can't clear. Bellingham puts it away. And England have two in 2.5 minutes. Scotland 0, England 2. Foden and Bellingham with a double strike.
Jim, if truth be known, when England play at high revs and high tempo, little give and goes is too much for Scotland at this moment in time. And they put the ball in behind, good back heel, and in it come. And when the ball come in, panic ensued, bad clearance and an easy tapping.
Yeah, Andy Robertson there. I think he'll be disappointed. Just couldn't work his feet. He's just got to clear it. It's an easy clearance. Just couldn't kind of get his feet right. But you look at Jude Bellingham. He doesn't give the ball away. It's quality. He starts this little back heel, always on the move, anticipating it. Can it break to him? And like you say, it's an excellent finish. It's coming in. Just Andy, too much time there. I don't understand why he's trying to pass. He's just got to put the right foot through, or put it out for a corner with the left.
Yeah, he's just got caught in two minds, I think. He's had a look at it and thought, hang on, I've got more time than I think I have. And then he saw out the corner of his eye Walker pressurising him and panic ensued.
Well, Jude Bellingham, who scored 5 goals in his first 4 games for Real Madrid, that's just his second goal for his country, adding to the one that he scored against Iran in the World Cup. A big moment for Jude Bellingham, a big 3 minutes for England. Scored twice in it and lead here by 2-0 at Hampden. Not good news for the Scots in Norway either. Their game against Georgia now 2-0. We'll get details in a moment. Scots looking for an immediate response here, taking it on inside the penalty area. Tierney trying to get it in, and then it was flicked away from Che Adams. And there were appeals for a penalty, but perhaps optimistic ones. Referee Massa, though, has told Porteous to wait before restarting play with the throw, because the VAR is having a look at a potential penalty incident.
Yeah, I don't think any of the players' reaction dictated there might be a handball there. I'll be surprised if it's given. Gahey, I think they're looking at. He's sort of gone to the ground and it's hit it. I think it's his hand, maybe shoulder, who knows. No play on.
I think the thing that will have saved him and the VAR decision is no handball, no penalty. That he's put his arm down to break his fall, and that is stipulated in the laws of the game. That you were allowed to do that, and he wasn't trying to gain an advantage. It was accidental anyway, but he was just putting his left arm down there as he was falling to the ground to break his fall. It is a throw instead, which will be taken on the Scotland right-hand side. A chance for Porteous to arch the back, launch along one end towards the near post. Bellingham has cleared, out towards Kane. Kane playing it forward. The counter-attack is on here. England already have two. They're looking for a third. Ball is knocked square, but not with the quality that was necessary. Rashford had Foden and Bellingham to his right. He's played it behind the pair of them, and it should really have been three.
Yeah, in my mind, as soon as he broke into the opposition's off, just keep running at goal. Something will open up and you'll get a little pullback eventually if he had to take it another 5 or 10 yards.
I felt that Bellingham had a lot of room for error if he just plays it in behind Henry there. I think Rashford would have had a lot of time. As soon as he cuts it back, it takes the player out of the momentum and their stride.
It remains Scotland 0, England 2. And let's get news of that second Norway goal from Talksport's Ian Danter.
Yeah, it's Norway 2, Georgia 0. Just over 10 minutes before the break. Antonio Nusa, this young 18-year-old, only his second appearance for Norway, causing havoc on the left-hand side. Lovely jinking run and a pull back to the edge of the area. Crashed home by the left foot of Arsenal's Martin Odegaard. Complete control for the Norwegians. Norway 2, Georgia 0.
Means from a Scottish perspective is that it's not going to happen tonight. Of course, really doesn't mean that it's not going to happen at all. Far from it. Just a question of when, not if, you would imagine, with Scotland having 15 points in the first 5 games. Tierney bringing it forward now for the Scots, looking to try and get themselves back into this. Adams slightly mistiming his jump as he tried to get in between Gurhey and Dunk, and it's come off the Brighton man, and he's able to get it back to Aaron Ramsdale. It's Scotland 0, England 2 on Talksport. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, speaking with Chris earlier on today, he was painting a picture that, whenever the ball's in wide areas, it will be coming in with quality, with numbers in there. And we've probably not seen that as much from Scotland when they've had it in advanced areas.
No, definitely not. I think there as well, there's numbers in the box, but just that final pass, that final decision, that final bit of movement just needs to be better. But at the minute, not seeing a lot of the ball. When they do get into the attacking area, you just expect with the quality that they've shown time and time again that they can do it.
The free kick has gone Scotland's way as a foul by Declan Rice. He's caught Scott McTominay and he was concerned. It's just indicating that he thinks that he's actually caught him with his elbow accidentally, and that the referee should have a look at McTominay to make sure he's okay. But he's back on his feet. He's going to be able to continue. The other game is Scotland's group, Spain 3 up in that match in Granada at home to Cyprus. Spain 3, Cyprus 0, Norway 2, Georgia 0. And the other games in England's group at the moment, Malta trailing at home to North Macedonia by a goal to 0. Italy lead Ukraine 2-0. McTominay's okay. He's back on his feet. Billy Gilmore's got the ball. And the ball is worked all the way back to Angus Gunn, who will clear it right-footed towards halfway. And England win the aerial challenge very effectively with Lewis Dunk, whose side kept a clean sheet in his first international appearance 5 years ago against the USA. Clean sheet against their name so far. England leading with those 2 goals in 3 minutes through Foden and Bellingham just after the half-hour mark. Scotland on the front foot here with Hickey. Hickey had a spell before signing for Brentford in Italian football. The ball played through towards Che Adams. Adams almost showing too much of it to Bellingham. He did well to ride the first challenge that came. It was a poor second challenge that came in from Phillips, and it's earned him a yellow card. Stuart?
As I say, it looked a little bit late from Phillips. I think he's just caught him. The referee's brandished the yellow, and in fact, I think by Phillips' reaction, he's suggesting he thinks he's got the ball. But the one thing that worries me a little bit, well, I think it's a booking. He's gone to ground and a bit loose. The one thing that worries me a little bit is Bellingham was quick to get involved in the pushing and shoving straight away, and there's no need for that, He likes a tackle, and if you're going to go into major tournaments, liking a tackle and getting involved in pushing and shoving, you're going to soon find yourself out the game.
Yeah, Jack Hendry took exception to Jude Bellingham's reaction, and there was a bit of pushing and shoving going on after the ball as well. I think they both earned yellow cards for their part in that. Porteous and Walker just for a moment eyeballing each other from very close range as well. But just the 3 yellow cards shown in that incident by Davide Massa. Incidentally, for all that this is the oldest international fixture in world football, there's never been a red card in a Scotland-England game. But hey, the night is young.
I think the levels of tolerance some years ago was a little bit higher than they are now, it's fair to say.
Certainly from the pictures we saw of that 1872 encounter, wouldn't get away with some of that now. Robertson playing it inside the area, and a defensive header by Rice has given Scotland their first corner of the night.
I think it was actually Dunk who managed to get there before Rice, I think. Yeah, it was, and I'll tell you what, that's twice now he's defended the middle of his goal particularly well.
So Scotland with the first corner, which will be taken on the right flank. Porteous has spotted the ball down. It's McGinn that is going to come forward to take it. Does have the option of a short one towards McGregor. Foden keeping an eye on that. Fired inside the box. Took a first touch in the near post area off a Scottish player, but Adams couldn't find a teammate. England hammer it away, and it goes out for a throw much nearer halfway, which is taken very quickly by Andy Robertson. Scored against England when the two sides met here in Glasgow back in 2014. Scotland on the front foot with Hickey. His ball inside the area, travelled a long way, and it's bobbled off Phillips, but the referee saw a Scotland push, and it will be a free kick that England will take inside their own penalty area. 90 seconds to half time. Here on Talksport, it's Scotland 0, England 2.
Yeah, well, much better quality from Scotland in wide areas. I think great corner in from McGinn, beats the first man. I think it comes off the thigh of Che Adams, but again, England alive to it. They can defend. Hickey again asking that question, beating the first man, but as I say, you've got to keep your hands down in the box. Referee was positioned well.
More live football coming up for you over the course of the weekend, of course, starting Friday night. Live Talksport 2 action, Southampton against Leicester in the Championship. Che Adams likely to be playing in that against his old hometown club. And so on the books of Leicester as a real youngster. We'll be playing against them on Friday. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff over on Talksport 2. And then Saturday, Wolves against Liverpool, exclusive on Talksport. Game day exclusive with Faye Carruthers in the chair, Sam Matterface and Martin Keown talking through the action from Molineux. Wolves against Liverpool build up at 11 ahead of a 12:30 kickoff Saturday on Talksport. Here's Declan Rice bringing the ball forward and finding Foden. 30 seconds to half time. There will be a bit of time to be added on with VAR check, a couple of goal celebrations, and the skirmish a few moments ago, so it will be 2 or 3 minutes, you would think. Gurhey's got possession, and he'll chip it right-footed out to the far touchline for Kyle Walker. Walker controlling it, plays it back to the edge of his own penalty area. Back for Ramsdale. Ramsdale's slightly heavy first touch, just to pique the interest of Che Adams for a moment. England able to get it through the midfield. Rashford playing it back just the 1 extra minute. Here's Harry Kane. Kane on halfway, switching, changing the direction and working it out towards the England right-hand side. Slightly unorthodox control from Kyle Walker, leaning over it and sort of pushing it to the ground with his chest before getting back off one knee and regaining possession. Gurhey goes back for Dunk. Dunk forward for Declan Rice. Nice 10 yards inside his own half. Has got a couple of Scottish players making life difficult for him. Gilmour just gave him a little shove, but England maintain possession and go back for Ramsdale. Just a question of seeing the remaining seconds off the clock here. Ramsdale's not going to do anything until Adams comes out and engages, and then Ramsdale looks long, looking for Kane, finding him. He's got the better of Porteous. Play forward towards Bellingham. Bellingham towards the edge of the penalty area here. It's a chance for England to make it 3 right at the end of the half. And Foden's crossfield ball didn't quite pick out Kane. He was just coming into the 6-yard box but couldn't get there in time. And when England have been able to push forward, they've been able to unlock this Scottish defence with relative ease as the half has gone on. England with plenty of possession in the opening 25 minutes, found a way through just after the half-hour mark with Foden. He was then instrumental in Jude Bellingham scoring a second 3 minutes later. And at the break, it's Scotland 0, England 2.
Well, as the players make their way off, right at the start of this evening, the bagpipes were loud and proud, but since then, Scotland have piped right down. England have been on top. No efforts on goal for Scotland, nothing on target for them. And even though they've had a fair bit of possession, it has been England all the way. And of course, they lead by 2-0. And Stuart Pearce, do you think the England fans will be happy with Gareth Southgate at this moment in time?
No, too defensive, too negative. Maguire's not played well. And Henderson should never start. It's ridiculous. It really is. Listen, Aid, they'll be absolutely delighted with this performance. I think when England have gone into high revs, playing through the thirds, little interchange and 1-2s, it's been very, very difficult for Scotland to stop and deal with them and whatever. They've looked very good in their attacking play. Possession's been good, but the difference between this game and Ukraine, we're looking to play forward. We've played it over the top with good runs and slid balls through with good runs as well.
I was a little frustrated at 0-0. Listen, a goal changes everything for me. I'm that basic an England fan, but I was a little bit frustrated. They were slowing things right down, going backwards, 20-yard passes when they could have turned and gone forward. But is that part of the game plan? And that's what's led to us being 2-0 up?
I'm not on the inside of it. I don't know whether they're saying, well, hang on, if we do that, we draw the opposition onto us and then we wait the opportunity to play the pass. And sometimes I think it's on more often than not. I'm like you in that camp, you know. We watched the game in Ukraine and I thought the ball could have gone forward more often than not to hurt the opposition, and we didn't play it. Tonight I think it's totally different. I think some of our interchange, and there was once we swept almost the length of the pitch with so much great interchange and pace and power and precision.
Well, before the game, Chris Wellamo, former Scotland striker, told us how Gaza made him cry. Foden and Bellingham making you cry tonight. What's going wrong for Scotland? Because they've done nothing.
Yeah, they haven't. I think it's how good England have been. You know, I think that front four. I'm looking at Kane. You know, the positions that he picks up, how strong he is. Like Potes is not even going to go and try and win his aerial duels. He's allowing Kane to take it down. You can't give a player of that quality that time. You know, Bellingham, Rashford and Foden. Again, they're so compact. They come so close together, and the movement, it really kind of nullifies the quality of Gilmour and McGregor, and you don't really want to kind of push one of your centre backs out. It's so difficult to defend against, and then as soon as you do step out of position, that quality little ball with weight of passing behind, and you have to then defend for your lives, and it's been nowhere near good enough.
I'm going to ask Chris a question here, because he covers Scotland a lot more than I do. Do you think Scotland have almost got caught up in the situation? If they were taking a team on of England's ability and rank, would they be a lot more cautious than they are in a game like tonight with all the euphoria that's surrounding it?
Well, it's important that you don't play the occasion, you know, and I think the players have got to kind of buy into that. They've shown that they don't crumble under pressure, but you called it within the first couple of minutes, Stuart. You said that giving England far too much respect. You cannot sit off players. You've got to go in the front, put high intensity, force the error, and then grow into the game from there, and Scotland haven't done that.
Can you see Scotland getting back into this at all?
Well, I just want something. I want them. I want a chance. I want an effort and goal. If they get the next goal, then you never know, but England are completely in control.
They are. It is 2-0 to England. Foden and Bellingham with the goals. We'll talk about that little skirmish where Bellingham got booked. Stuart made a great point about that in-game commentary. But live on Talksport, England very much in control in this so-called friendly, the 150th anniversary heritage match. At half-time on Talksport, it's Scotland 0, England 2. Well, tough job for the PA announcer here at Hampden at half-time, trying to rouse the crowd. Just gone through a long list of inventions and then asked the crowd where they were all invented. Scotland, the answer. It was a little bit half-hearted from the Hampden crowd because it is Scotland 0, England 2. Second half coming up live on Talksport. A game that also affects Scotland is Norway against Georgia in Oslo. Let's check out what's happening in the first half with Talksport's Ian Danta.
Norway 2, Georgia 0 at the break. Scotland look they'll have to wait until next month to secure safe passage to the Euro finals, as the drawn scoreline they craved here to confirm qualification tonight now looks unlikely. Norway firmly in control. It was a quiet opening quarter and the home fans were just starting to show signs of frustration when Norway hit the front on 25 minutes. 18-year-old Antonio Nusa on his competitive debut for Norway. Some lovely wing play down the left. His deep cross found, you guessed it, Erling Haaland. Perfect cross at the far post, and his firm header 6 yards outdid the rest. It was 2-0 just over 10 minutes before the break. Nusa again causing havoc with a jinking run into the box and a clever pull back to the edge of the area for Arsenal's Martin Odegaard to crash the ball home left-footed. For Georgia, their star man Kvaratskhelia has had 2 weaving runs at the backpedalling Norwegian defence, but on both occasions his final shot inside the box was blocked. Odegaard's had more chances to extend the Norwegian lead. It looks a long way back for Georgia here. At the break, Norway 2, Georgia 0.
Yeah, Scotland need that to be a draw. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Elsewhere, in England's group, Group C, it's Italy 2, Ukraine 1. Yarmolenko pulling one back for Ukraine just before half-time. And it's Malta 0, North Macedonia 2. Stays like that. Those results stay like that. England need a point versus Italy at Wembley next month to qualify. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes. Well, England are 2 up here at Hampden. Scotland are 125 to 1 for the win. The draw 25 to 1, and England 40 to 1 on. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Well, some wonderful stuff on Talksport today. The breakfast show, magnificent as ever. Ali McCoy, Andy Townsend on great form, picking a combined all-time England-Scotland 11. No Gaza in there, just left me astounded though. David Moyes was also on the breakfast show. Brilliant appearance from him. Ange Postecoglou, another Premier League manager, the Spurs boss, he was on with White and Jordan this morning as well. And then on Drive, fantastic show from the boys. Building up to this commentary here, they had a caller, a Celtic fan, who told them that Billy Gilmour right now is better than Jude Bellingham. Evidence to the contrary, my friends, but always entertaining. And on breakfast tomorrow, some great guests with Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy. Sam Allardyce, former England manager, Phil Jagielka, former England defender. They will be on the breakfast show tomorrow. The whole thing gets underway at 6. They asked me to go on at 9 o'clock. I said, if England win, yes. But if Scotland win, do you think I'm going on with McCoist and Brazil? Absolutely no chance. So it looks for the moment like I will be joining them. It'll be live from Loch Lomond at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that. Let's bring back in the former England captain, Stuart Pearce. You mentioned during commentary that moment where Jude Bellingham lost his head, and it was worse than people might think, because there was a foul from Declan Rice. He got booked for that. Bellingham went in, Hendry got involved as well. They were both booked. And Jude Bellingham then, his head was in such a crazed space, Stuart. He didn't have a clue what he was doing at the free kick. Kieran Trippier had to leave the man he was marking, go to Jude Bellingham and point where he needed to stand at the free kick. England can't afford to have players losing their heads when they're leading in a match like this.
No, Jude's the sort of individual that ends up getting in a sort of pushing match and a sort of late skirmishes. He probably had about 2 or 3 prior to that. He's been booked, and to get involved in stuff like that, okay, tonight he's got involved in it. What worries me, you go to a major tournament, you get a little bit excited, you come up against a referee that isn't very tolerant, and all of a sudden that's your lot. You're off the pitch and England are coming home early, and that can't be acceptable.
Yeah, we've seen that before from England as well. I must tell you, on the touchline right now, Harry Maguire is stripped to his England kit, going through his paces. Stuart, it looks very much like he will be coming on for the second half.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I thought that he might end up playing tonight, to be fair. I think he needs to gain experience. Excuse me, I'm eating a meat pie at this moment in time.
Can I have one? Chris Wellamo, let's talk about that error from Andy Robertson. It's inexplicable, really, for a player of his quality to literally pass the ball to arguably the best player in the world right now, Jude Bellingham. Incredible from Robertson.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed, Adrian. You know,
disappointed.
He was caught in two minds.
He won't sleep tonight because of it.
He had more time than what he thought. It's just a reaction when it's came off the most offensive England player. When he's turned, he's under pressure from Walker, and he's stabbed at it. You know, as composed as he usually is, just either make a decision, I've got to clear it, there's no time to take a touch and try and play, and he should just put the right foot through it, clear the area, or put the left foot through it, out for a corner. Now, you've seen the way that he looked up to the skies, because it's a massive error, and a game that, okay, very much second best, but at 1-0 it's still very much, you know, there is a possibility, but England are in so much control at the minute. We just need to do something a little bit different. And Steve Clarke, you know, we have quality and depth. There can be players come on and change it up.
Well, I'm wondering what tactically he can do, because you want to play 5 at the back to stop England having so much space out wide and creating those chances, but then you need players going forward to get back in the game, and that could open up the spaces for England.
Well, yes, definitely, you know, but you have to take the risk. You know, it's a friendly, albeit the old enemy, as they say. I think Lyndon Dykes is a little bit more direct, you know, not fight balls, but quality up, because Che Adams feeding off scraps at the minute, taking too many touches, not really. His strength is playing on the shoulder, getting him behind. We've not really had that quality or enough time on the ball to affect England in that way, so I think we've got to be a little bit more direct now and have the likes of John McGinn and McTominay picking up those second balls.
I want an opinion from you as a Scotland man, a Scotland fan, a former Scotland player. When all the Scotland fans realised Maguire was warming up and was likely to come on because he was stripped to the England kit, they kind of cheered a bit. It gave them a little bit of a lift. And I know it's disrespectful to Harry Maguire, but that's how they felt. Can you understand why Scotland fans are thinking that? And will the Scotland players be thinking that as well?
No, not at all. We all know that Harry Maguire, even very limited game time that he has for England, he doesn't make too many mistakes, you know. In a game that they're in complete control, if anything, he's solid. He's a leader, and he's another threat from corners as well. So he can go out and definitely quieten the laughs or whatever, the cheers that he's getting by putting the ball in the back of the net. Simple as.
Well, England make their way back onto the field. McTominay and Maguire had a long chat on the pitch as the players inspected the pitch on arrival. It's very rare they're out there at the same time, actually, before the game, but they were, Scotland and England. And they've got a lot in common. They're probably asking each other when they're going to play for United. McTominay's made 2 sub-appearances, coming on in the 85th and 88th minute. Maguire came on in the 67th minute against Arsenal for Manchester United. So getting more game time for country than club these days. Those two. Scotland are back out on the pitch as well. They've got to do something very special in this second half. It's Scotland 0, England 2. Second half on Talksport with the former Scotland striker Chris Iwelumo, former England captain Stuart Pearce, and your England commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Now it's an age thing, but am I allowed, Chris Iwelumo, as an Englishman, to like Baccarat and Yes Sir I Can Boogie? Is that okay? It is an age thing. I was 5, I can still remember it very clearly. A change for England. Maguire for Gurhey is the change for this second half. So Harry Maguire will be partnering Lewis Dunk. And I would imagine that's a premeditated one, as long as the situation of the game decreed that it could be made for Gareth Southgate. 3 halves of football for Mark Gurhey, 3 halves of football for Harry Maguire over the course of these 2 games. We're back underway. That's the only change that we've seen so far tonight. England going from left to right in this second half. Scotland defending the east stand here at Hampden Park, and they've got an early goal kick lining up with Gunn in goal. Back 5 of Hickey, Porteous, Hendry, Tierney, Robertson, Gilmore and McGregor, McTominay and McGinn, and Adams. England have Ramsdale in goal. And then Walker, Dunk, Maguire and Trippier, Phillips, Rice and Bellingham, Foden, Kane and Rashford. Scotland coming into this had only conceded once here at Hampden in the last 6 games, which was a goal scored by Ireland's John Egan. But they shipped 2 in a 3-minute spell in the first half. It is Scotland 0, England 2 here on Talksport.
Jim, I can't get the vision out of my head of you in 1978 wearing a pair of Vince Hilairs on the dance floor to Baccarat. I really can't.
As a 5-year-old, it was a lively nursery school that I went to. The ball is out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the far touchline. What an education, as you can tell. 1970s music, tick. Maths and English, yeah, not so much. The ball played for by Scotland. Adams trying to hold it up, waiting for McGinn to be able to play it into his path. It didn't happen, and England will be able to play it forward. Foden is almost a perfect ball for Bellingham's run. Porteous in the end can mop up before it got as far as Rashford, but Foden just trying to lay one in almost lazily with the outside of the left boot to curve it and to get it to die into the path of Bellingham. He very nearly got it right. Ball's gone out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the England right-hand side. We're 2 minutes into the second half, and here are the thoughts of the former Scotland international, Chris Iwelumo.
Well, what I do have to say is Angus Gunn, I think his distribution is excellent. Always looks to try and play. If nothing else is on, with quality, goes from back to front. John McGinn there again, just has a look around, knows that he's in time and space, and still tries to flick it with the head to Robertson. Take it on the chest, get us up the pitch, and take it from there.
Maguire. It's gone back for Ramsdale, excuse me, and then Phillips can bring it forward. Bellingham for Calvin Phillips again, and now towards Walker, who just dropped his left shoulder for a moment and threatened to play the ball one side of Robertson, ended up going the other. England have maintained possession relatively easily. Here's Harry Maguire again. This is the first of England's last 13 games in which Maguire hasn't started, but we'll get 45 minutes tonight, and his name now being sung by the England fans away to our left. I think Rashford felt he was fouled. Play is allowed to continue. And Scotland have possession on halfway. They've gone back to Jack Hendry. Hendry down the left-hand touchline for Kieran Tierney. Tierney working it forward into the feet of McGinn. McGinn trying to turn left-hand side of the area, and he unrifled one that might have just been creeping in the bottom right-hand corner. It then hit Adams and spun across the goal the other way, but well won. And out of play for a goal kick. It's Scotland 0, England 2.
Yeah, I think Aid at half-time was asking Chris, can Scotland get in the game? If England drop off the pace a little bit, it will happen. There is no doubt. You've got to keep your... If you've got your ascendancy in a game, keep your foot on their throat all the time and try and get that third goal, because the game changes very, very quickly.
It's Lewis Dunk that's got it. On the edge of his own penalty area, played for Calvin Phillips, and Phillips had just lost it for a moment as Andy Robertson very quickly applied the pressure. Phillips wasn't sure where the ball was between his feet. It's gone out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Scotland left-hand side. Foden comes across and almost gives a consolatory high five to Calvin Phillips, who put his hands on his head for a moment, who was so frustrated that he'd given the ball away. It's given Scotland the chance to launch a long throw inside the penalty area here. From Tierney, helped on and cleared by Bellingham. Right-footed shot goes over the bar, but the first attempt that we've seen from Scotland, Billy Gilmour it was that met it. Came to him about 20 yards out, round the edge of the D, but leaning back, he couldn't keep it down.
Well, from a long throw, I think the ball bounces right on the 6-yard line, central of goal as well, but again, England defensively anticipate that, clearly danger. Not the best of clearance, but a poor touch from Billy Gilmour right at the edge of the box. Had to kind of wrap his right foot around it and just couldn't get the accuracy with his shot, but better from Scotland.
Bellingham helping it on through the midfield for Kane. Kane, who scored the very late equaliser the last time the two sides met here in Scotland. A game that England led, going in with 5 minutes to go, and conceded twice. Kane rescued the situation. That means that England have arrived here in Glasgow tonight having not lost on Scottish soil since 1985. Ball headed forward by Maguire at the back for England. Hendry mops up and gets it back for his goalkeeper Gunn in all yellow tonight, and then an offside flag is up as Gunn played it forward. Very firm aerial challenge from Maguire, which has left one of the Scotland players, I think it's McTominay, on the deck. But he's come back from an offside position, so when play restarts, it will be an England free kick on halfway strip.
Yeah, and Maguire done extremely well there. A couple of good challenges from him and a good header. Obviously, comes on every time he puts a white shirt on, he don't let down, and every time he puts a white shirt on, he plays under pressure. So you've got to give him credit for that.
There's almost a frisson of excitement from the Scotland fans whenever he has the ball at his feet. He's winning a 59th cap for his country today. He played 200 minutes more for England than he did in the Premier League last season. And he's going to have more minutes for England on the clock this season than he has for Manchester United as well. Kane picking it up. And he's almost played a delicious ball on the turn out towards the left-hand side for Trippier. Rice getting it back. And Scotland half cleared. Dunk will find Maguire again. Just relishing the pressure, you sense, and playing the simple ball back for Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale rolling the studs of his right boot over the top of the ball before laying it back outside the penalty area for Maguire. Those two just having their own individual game for a moment. Now Adams comes and joins in, playing as a piggy in the middle for a moment. And then Rice forward towards Bellingham. England playing through the press, but they've lost it. Scotland getting it back. McGinn trying to help it back towards Gilmour around the edge of the penalty area. England have got their shake back. Now it comes from McGregor. McGregor's ball in. Walker with a diving header into a central area. The Dunk did well to get something on it and steer it further clear. And then Foden in a wider position can win it back for England. And Kane will put his foot on the ball, turn away from Gilmour. And England will be able to play their way out pretty neatly. They did well in an awkward cul-de-sac there, England, to get out of trouble.
They certainly did. And you've got to admire Harry Kane. He gets the ball and you think someone's coming up behind it. He's not seen him and he just plays his way out. His sense of what's around him is fantastic. He'll either buy a foul or he'll get out of a really tight spot and keep possession for his team.
On the other hand, good offensive play as well. Robertson breaking his neck to get in behind, and it was a great ball from Callum McGregor, cut out well by Walker, picking up second balls as well. Scotland, the tempo has risen, so the quality has been better as well. Just that final pass can be better.
A reminder that if Norway against Georgia is a draw tonight, Scotland are through to the Euros. Norway currently lead it by 2-0, Spain 2, Cyprus 0. The other game in that group, Italy 2, Ukraine 1, Malta 0, North Macedonia 2 in England's group. Now those results stay the same. England will only need a draw at home to Italy next month to go through. You'll hear it live on Talksport. Foden down towards Walker, gets towards the byline, doesn't wrap his right foot around it to deliver first time, plays it back instead for Kane. Good ball in from Kane, decent defensive header from the retreating Tierney. Bellingham's taken a tumble inside the box, but is just getting back to his feet. Rashford, I beg your pardon. Now it comes back through the midfield once more, and England have it very deep with Maguire, as the crowd will tell you. I don't think he's misplaced the pass yet since coming on. The ironic Olays can come out for him, but as I mentioned a moment ago, he's dealing with the pressure just fine at the moment. Play forward into the feet of his club teammate Rashford, gets it back again. Now it comes down towards Dunk. Dunk down towards Kyle Walker. The England fans are having their view of Harry Maguire, a much more positive one, suggesting that he's got Scotland exactly where he wants them, or something like that. Here he is again, 10 yards outside the box. Play forward into the feet of Marcus Rashford. It's a great turn from Rashford. He's taken 2 Scotland players out of the picture in the process. Down towards the left-hand side for Trippier. Now Foden making his way towards the edge of the D. Ball is played out towards the left for Jude Bellingham, and Bellingham just hoping to feather it into the path of Kieran Trippier. Hit it twice as hard as he needed, and it's gone out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the Scotland right-hand side. But 10 minutes into the second half, Chris, not too many positive signs from Scotland's point of view of being able to get themselves back into this as yet.
Yeah, I think the only success Scotland's having is because England have taken their foot off the pedal a little bit and defending a little bit deeper. I think they can go forward anytime they want with quality, and Scotland are scrambling a little bit, so it just has to be a little bit better in possession for Scotland. As soon as England lose the ball, they hunt the ball down, that front 4, 5, 6, go and get it, really put Scotland under pressure. They don't have the quality to get their head up and keep possession. Now, I said before the game about Gilmour and McGregor being so important. They've not got that time, they've not got on the ball nowhere near enough.
Scottish changes are imminent, and Dykes and Christie are the 2 players who are getting ready for action down below us. Meantime, a free kick to England, which will be taken about 15 yards inside the Scotland half, and Kyle Walker stands over him. And he's worked it back towards Declan Rice. Rice in the Scottish half of the centre circle when he picks up possession. Goes back inside his own half for Dunk. Here's Maguire again. And another well-executed pass. So too that from Trippier down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Flag again. Stays down for now, but might subsequently come up. An opportunity for England to deliver. Bellingham trying to work the angle. Interplay with Rashford. Rashford out towards Trippier. Marcus Rashford has it again. Now Trippier on the left-hand touchline. Those two trying to get the better of a 2-ball of Hickey and McTominay. End up getting a throw, which will be taken level with the edge of the Scottish box. It's 2-0 England, as it has been for the last 20 minutes or so. Foden and Bellingham, the England goal scorers tonight. Kane making his way out towards the left-hand touchline to get the ball into feet, and then shanking it and straight back out of play for another throw. I mean, Harry Kane, historically, seemingly drops deeper and deeper with every England game that he plays, Stuart, but he has been really deep tonight, almost an orthodox false 9 as opposed to a centre forward.
Yeah, so I think he just enjoys getting a touch of the ball, and the one thing with him, when he does drop deep and get hold of the ball, you know he's going to hit a raking switch of play or play the ball in behind. He plays the ball that I think he would want as a centre forward almost.
Maguire finding Ramsdale. Ramsdale more than halfway towards his 3rd clean sheet in 4 England appearances. Porteous at the other end for Scotland. Down towards Tierney. The double Scotland change will be made at the next break in play. I imagine it might be Adams who will come off for Dykes. It'll be interesting to see who Christie comes on for. Billy Gilmore of Brighton in the midfield to find McGregor, Celtic legend. Now down towards Porteous. Porteous forward towards halfway. McTominay has lost it to Bellingham, who can turn and then feed Rashford. And Bellingham will make his way towards the edge of the penalty area with Rashford in possession out towards the left-hand touchline. Trippier's made a good run forward on the overlap for him. Rashford tried to supply Bellingham with a return ball down the inside left channel on the side of the penalty area. Bellingham then just couldn't get on the end of Rashford's ball as he tried to win it back. Kane might be able to make something happen and fires one narrowly over the bar after a deflection that the officials haven't seen. And a goal kick has been given, but clearly it should have been a corner.
Yeah, big deflection there. First time round, in all honesty, I'm not sure I saw it, but when I watched the replay again, it was a fair old size deflection there, just off the knee.
So, the first change, we'll see Che Adams withdrawn for Scotland. So, number 10 coming off, number 9, Lyndon Dykes coming on, and Ryan Christie will come on as well for Scotland. And he's going to be replacing Billy Gilmore. Chris, your thoughts on those two Scotland changes?
Yeah, again, I think Ryan Christie coming on. I think McTominay now just kind of drops back. Ryan Christie kind of takes that kind of more offensive role. Lyndon Dykes is a fantastic outlet with he'll go and he'll win his aerial duels. He brings other players in. It's just important that it's when we get our head up, it's about quality going into him, and then can we pick up the second balls or gambling in behind. He's got to win those headers for us and make it stick.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Che Adams back in action Friday night for Southampton, along with his fellow international teammate Stuart Armstrong. They take on Leicester. It's live on Talksport 2 Friday night from 8 o'clock at St Mary's. Saturday, Wolves against Liverpool is a game day exclusive. 12:30 the game starts, 11 o'clock the build-up on Talksport. Manchester United against Brighton in the Premier League, exclusive on Talksport 2. It's not on UK TV. 3 o'clock it kicks off on Talksport 2 Saturday afternoon. And then also a couple of tasty games from the Championship. Cardiff Swansea, Saturday tea time on Talksport 2. And Sunday lunchtime, Millwall Leeds. Some fantastic games over the course of the weekend for you on the Talksport network. We'll bring you nearly 500 games over the course of the season, more than anybody else. 2-0 with half an hour to go in this one in England's favour as they look to make it 7 wins in 10 against the Scotland side. Have only lost 1 in 10 coming into this, which was a friendly defeat away to Turkey. Steve Clarke has galvanised Scotland, and what a fantastic job he's done with the resources he's inherited. Brilliant record that he's had. Bad days have been few and far between, but they haven't really done themselves justice tonight, Chris. And I'm sure that as an Englishman you won't mind me saying that. It's a fair comment that they played much better than this in the recent past.
No, they have. You're spot on, Jim. Even the likes of there, Aaron Hickey, Christie makes an excellent run. It's just that weight of pass, that quality of pass as well. The idea was there, but they've been executing them perfectly in the last few games as well, and getting opportunities at the attacking end. So yeah, it has been disappointing. There's still time.
Still plenty of time. Remember, 2 goals in the last 5 minutes went Scotland's way the last time that England were in Glasgow. Dunk back for Ramsdale. Ramsdale controlling the ball just outside the edge of the 6-yard box, and again just waiting for some movement from one of the Scotland players. He was trying to entice Lyndon Dykes to come and put a challenge on so he could get the ball round him. Dunk under pressure from Christie, goes back for Ramsdale. Now down towards Lewis Dunk again. A couple of yards in from the right-hand touchline, in towards Phillips, who receives the ball on the half-turn, gets it away from Ryan Christie, and Maguire chips it superbly. Well, it's just actually a slightly awkward bounce in front of Trippier that made it slightly harder to bring under control, although Rashford ends up with the ball at his feet and has held off 3 and almost played a defence-splitting ball for Bellingham. I think Rashford felt that he was being impeded by the referee and pulled back, and he's making that point actually now very vociferously. Meanwhile, play continues upfield with Gunn keeping his nerve under pressure, finding Robertson, and then McGregor can work it through the midfield for McTominay, and Scotland are on the front foot and able to turn. They trail 2-0. McTominay's long diagonal, picking out Robertson, trying to volley a ball inside the area, Walker, it's come off Christie, he's done well to keep it in and hook it back inside the penalty area, and Scotland have another chance to deliver here. Robertson, Ford, Christie, it's been lively since coming on, little layoff, back for Robertson, deep ball from him, but Dykes had made a run into the centre of the 6-yard box. The ball went to the far post area, and Trippier could let it run across him, and out of play for an England throw. Scotland 0, England 2 on Talksport.
Yeah, I'm not sure England have picked the tempo up that they showed in the first half. I've not seen enough players want to make that run in behind to stretch the game. Everyone wants a touch of the ball now. I suppose it's understandable at 2-0, but it just entices pressure onto you.
So is that game management, or is that frustration?
I think it's game management. It's got to, you've got to think to yourself, hang on, I've got to do the hard miles to make the game easy, rather than say, oh, I can conserve energy now, I've got a big game the weekend.
Ryan Christie's just tried his luck again, this time from fully 30 yards, and he's fired it wide. But he has been very lively since coming on. He's made a difference.
Yeah, he has. He's seen a lot of the ball. He does have that extra little bit of quality as well. He's done a little reverse pass for John McGinn, and it was Andy Roberts that found himself in the box. It's actually cut it out, kept possession of the ball, but it's just having that awareness around you. McGinn has to communicate, and it might he's receiving the ball right on the corner of the 6-yard box if it gets through to him there. It was good quality from Ryan Christie.
So Christie is playing as a left-sided attacking midfielder, the role that McGinn had. McGinn's moved out to the right where McTominay was. McTominay has moved back into Gilmore's position in midfield. That's how Scotland have shuffled things around. And they'll bring it forward now with Hickey, and a left-footed shot was blocked, and well blocked by Rice inside his penalty area. Scotland get it back with McGregor. Sorry, Stu, as Hickey makes a run off the ball. Left-footed is curved inside the box, and Dunk will chest it back to his goalkeeper, Ramsdale.
Yeah, we've got a situation at the moment where when England are getting attacked, Bellingham, Rashford and Harry Kane are up the pitch. Foden's half-cocked, halfway back, and all of a sudden everyone's looking at each other saying, well, who's going to tackle him then? I'm doing the pretty stuff, I don't really want to do the dirty stuff. And someone in our team's got to do the dirty stuff for us to do the pretty stuff eventually.
Dunk's ball forward is a misdirected and miscalculated pass. Dykes will then be beaten by Dunk on the edge of the penalty area as he tried to field McTominay's ball fired forward. It's back in the hands of Ramsdale again. 20 minutes into the second half, Scotland 0, England 2. From an England perspective, the last 6-7 minutes hasn't been great. So Scotland made the double change, they've been on top. Clearance from Ramsdale over halfway, and now Maguire will volley it back, but only after a free kick has been given against the retreating Declan Rice. So a thing called McGregor on the halfway line. That's a free kick that Scotland will look to take with Jack Hendry. If Scotland were to score the next goal, then the game changes markedly. It is 2-0 to England at the moment. Tierney plays on the left of 3 centre-halves for his country. Christie's done well again, finding McTominay in space in the midfield. Now it goes out to the dark, thick-set Hickey. Hickey towards the edge of the penalty area. McTominay trying to help it on. Maguire is in there. Hickey around the corner of the penalty area. Trippier did really well to dig it clear. And England will try and break. And will break quickly down the left-hand side with Rashford. And he's got Kane and Bellingham making runs ahead of him. He's found Bellingham. Bellingham trying to hook it across. But he's sliced it over the bar on the turn. And it's out of play for a goal kick.
Scotland are getting a lot of success just as McTominay and McGinn, for the fact that England have dropped a lot deeper. When you're talking about the front three, the front four doing that ugly work, the distances are too big.
Now Scotland will bring it forward again with Robertson sliding it in. He's in for an own goal. And Scotland are back in the game. And it's thoroughly merited after the last 6 or 7 minutes. Robertson picking up on the right-hand side of the penalty area. And it's Harry Maguire on the stretch who's got a left foot to it and diverted it in past Ramsdale. And midway through the second half, a lifeline for Scotland. Harry Maguire's own goal makes it Scotland 1, England 2.
Yeah, as I say, this is a penalty you pay if too many of your players want to take easy street and see the game out when the game isn't there to be seen out. And as it come across, it was Maguire who's put his foot out and directed it into the goal for an own goal. But too many England players are the other side of the ball and not breaking their neck to get back goal side.
Well, they've got to make their mind up. They've got to step up and make sure the distances are right. I think it's an excellent ball from Andy Robertson. You know, in behind, Harry Maguire has to make contact there. He has to make contact. If anything, a better contact, put it out for a corner and clear. Such a difficult one for a defender to defend there.
Well, the goal has come at the end of Scotland's best period of the game, and they're hungry for more. Robertson will bring the ball forward here. Dykes down towards the left-hand side again. Robertson hooking it inside the area, and Dykes got there first, but off balance as he climbed, could only get the forehead to it and flick it wide. But there's a different feel around Hampden Park now. Scotland have halved the deficit, and they feel that there's still plenty of mileage left in this game for them to get a positive result.
Well, England have opened the door a little bit, and Scotland have put their size 10 Dr. Martin straight through it and gone after the game, and credit to them for it. As I said, I'm seeing 4 England players just stood in and around the halfway line, looking back at their defence, trying to deal with the onslaught that is Scotland.
So what does Gareth Southgate need to do to shake this up? Is this a question of making changes, fresh personnel to try and rectify this problem, getting a vociferous message across to those that you would perceive to be the guilty parties?
Well, we're in a position at the moment we're either going to score a goal to win the game, or we're going to be chasing it if we're not careful. So the players on the pitch at the moment, the 3 behind Harry Kane, I think have got to do a little bit more and read the game. The game doesn't need them stood up the pitch now. It needs them to get in contact with the midfield and back line.
That's Rashford, Foden and Bellingham that you're talking about as Hickey has the ball for Scotland. A little bit more action on the England bench out of our view. But I think a double change is going to be made. Saka and Eze look as though they're the players that are going to be introduced. It's Scotland 1, England 2. An England substitute, Harry Maguire, putting through his own net to get England, or get Scotland back into this game after Foden and Bellingham have scored twice in a 3-minute spell in the first half. Here's Lyndon Dykes. Dykes laying it off towards the inside right position. McGinn can help it down towards Robertson. It's all Scotland at the moment. Robertson hooking inside the area, and another half chance as Dykes came to meet it, and he's headed it over the bar. In fact, it was McGinn that got there first, and he might have done better. And England are under the cosh here. They will make a double change. Rashford is the first player to come off. Saka's coming on for him. And Eberici Eze is also going to be coming on. He became the 57th debutant under Gareth Southgate when he played the final quarter of the game in Malta, and he's going to come on here I think for Phil Foden. So Foden and Rashford off, and Eze and Saka are on. Stuart?
Yeah, this is where I sort of have a little bit of a frustration with Marcus Rashford. I think he could grab hold of the game for 90 minutes and run past people and be like a Thierry Henry. Do you remember Henry in the Premier League? It was like a man against kids at occasion. I just think he fades out the game too readily, and this second half is a point in case for me.
But Chris, a couple of great moves down the left-hand side for Scotland, and a couple of headers, one going wide and one over the bar.
Yeah, well, John McGinn, he'll be disappointed. The run was perfect, the ball in. Great link up with Robertson and Tierney, good end product as well, but you know what, he's got in front of his man. Just all the pace was on the cross. Just make sure you hit the target there, and you're causing some problems.
I think it's shown great character from Scotland. You know, they've gone in, had a bloody nose in the first half. Second half they've come out with real character, got on the front foot. England have dropped off it, but they've carried on and steamrolled England at present.
Maguire again in possession, but able to find Lewis Dunk. In the first half it was 5 shots without reply in England's favour. Second half, 7 shots to 1 in Scotland's favour, although only one of those has been on target. Now England will work it forward here. Again, the flag might come up in a moment, but Eze is through, and it's an excellent save from goalkeeper Gunn. It might yet break Kane's way. Gunn eventually will chip it out of play. The flag didn't come up, and it will be an England throw. Eberici Eze might just have killed Scotland off there, but It's a sharp chance for him only moments after coming on, and he couldn't take it.
Once again, good run, diagonal ball in behind, and that's how easy it was to break the line. This is the first time probably this half we've actually seen that.
Yeah, but look where the England defensive line is. Straight away they're in the right areas, that attacking area. The movement's been good, but England were dropping deeper and deeper. They've brought on fresh legs that are going to do that defensive side as well, but like I say, that should be in the back of the net there for Eze. Excellent first touch, got in front of his man and got the shot away in the end.
Delicious crossfield ball from Kyle Walker, and Trippier after a little 1-2 with Eze, and Kane at the far post drills it in, but doesn't count. He's pushed his man, and a foul on Tierney, and a free kick which will be taken by Scotland and by Angus Gunn inside his 6-yard box. 73 gone, Scotland 1, England 2.
I don't think there was any need for Kane to do that. He should have probably just held his ground and then backed off at the last minute and just used his chest. He's had his hands, both hands in the back with Tierney, and free kick.
Yeah, no complaints. Ez has just been nutmegged there by Hickey, and Scotland will bring it forward, but only get halfway. It goes out of play for a throw. Well, it's been one of those nights that gives you plenty to react to, and Sports Bar is the perfect place to do it. 03717 22 33 44. The lines are open now, and Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara will take your calls. Excellent first half from England, not a good second half, and Scotland the absolute mirror image of that. Here's Kyle Walker. And Scotland will feel that such has been their performance in the second half, notwithstanding the fact that Eze has just missed a good opportunity to make it 3-1. Scotland might feel that they deserve to be on level terms now. Here's Eze off McTominay. Trippier back from Maguire. Declan Rice is able to take over and just lofts the ball down towards Walker, who controls it. Just given a slight nudge on the way through by Christie. He's maintained possession. The referee acknowledges that. Rice just on the edge of the centre circle. Eze in a good form at the start of this season for Palace, spinning it down towards Bellingham, who will bring it forward here and drive inside the area, and Gunn saves with his feet at the near post, kicks it away, and out of play for a throw to England.
It's far too easy. Far too easy, Bellingham, he's driving through. Someone's got to make the challenge. As soon as he comes into the 18-yard box, then you've got to be very, very cautious, but still just drags it onto his left, tries to find the near post area there. Good save with the right foot of Angus Gunn.
Yeah, he's got a lovely way, hasn't he? He just sways with the ball almost.
Got to be a challenge though, Stuart.
Here's Kyle Walker. Walker back for Lewis Dunter. Walker again. Bukayo Saka just peeling down towards the right-hand touchline, really keeping the width for England since coming on. He's got possession now, just glides back inside, which he did quite beautifully to good effect in that game against Ukraine at the weekend, where he forced a stunning save from Bushchan and tipped his effort onto the bar. It's the closest that England came to a winner that night. Here's Maguire. We're in the final quarter of an hour here on Talksport. Jim Proudfoot, Chris Uwelimo and Stuart Pearce talking through the action at Hampden, where Scotland 1, England 2. And Lewis Dunk's given it away. Phillips trying to rescue it in the midfield, and McGregor's won it back for Scotland, and it's then played back in by Robertson, and it goes through to Jack Hendry to his right hand side for Porteous, and Porteous travels into England territory, playing it into the feet of McTominay. Now back towards retreating Lyndon Dykes, whose family hail from Dumfries. The Dykes on the book of Queen of the South for some time, but he himself born and raised in Queensland, Australia. And a sack is pulled back and a yellow card is shown. It's the fourth of the night. And a free kick which will be taken by England. I think it was Tierney who was the guilty party there, and he's been cautioned in the book, along with Hendry, his teammate, and Phillips and Bellingham of England. Scotland 1, England 2 remains the score. Walker to take this free kick from halfway. He just flights it out towards the far touchline. The referee has said, no, take it again. I'm not too sure why. He was just putting his notebook back in his pocket, or was the ball moving? Not sure, but it's going to have to be retaken. And the message has now got across to the players, and Bellingham will just help the ball down towards Walker so he can re-spot it. Now everybody's happy and we can restart proceedings again. Walker flicking it forward for Rice, who made a good run for him off the ball. Down towards Bukayo Saka. 2-1 to England, but Scotland asking some decent questions. Jude Bellingham in a central position, 25 yards from goal. Chipped down towards Rice on the corner of the penalty area. Steers the header back for Kyle Walker. Good shape on his ball in. Saka couldn't quite get there. Eza can on the edge of the penalty area after it's half cleared. Now it comes for Rice. Rice to Kyle Walker. Didn't quite reach him. Headed away, but only as far as Saka on the corner of the penalty area. Trying to twist and turn. Robertson blocks the shot. Rice is able to pick it up. And Tomini snaps at his heels, but Rice maintains possession. Good ball in from him towards Kane. And it's steered away at the far post by Hickey for the first England corner of the second half.
Great play there by Declan Rice. A potential break on. He deals with that, drives to his right and whips a fantastic ball in. Horrible ball for Scotland to deal with, and Hickey done extremely well.
It's a better shape about England now that the substitutions have been made, with Eza and Saka coming on. Trippier going across to take the corner on the England left. 11 to go. Just too far ahead of Bellingham, who made a late near post run. Scotland repel it. And England will work it all the way back for Ramsdale. Now the Scots are going to be bringing Ferguson on in a moment, and Armstrong as well. And Scotland have pushed forward, and England with one long ball forward have got in behind, albeit in a wide position. Down he comes through the midfield for Declan Rice. Rice back for Phillips. Phillips in turn to Harry Maguire. Again, the crowd letting you know every time he's in possession. And he's got it again here, Maguire. England more than happy to take a conservative route through the midfield and this phase of play. Just stringing the passes together. Running time off the clock. 10 to go. 2-1 England lead. Phillips. Saka. Saka drawing Robertson with him into a midfield position. Saka's maintained possession and now can turn. Has the chance to run at Robertson. Instead lays it off to his left-hand side for Maguire. Good ball between the lines from him to Eza. Now to Trippier. Trippier to Rice. This is much better football from England than we've seen for a while. Bellingham able to turn. It's a really good turn as well. Gets away from Christie. Helps it in for Kane. It is a picture book goal. And with 10 minutes to go, that surely seals it for England. The 150th anniversary match between Scotland and England is going to go the way of the visitors. And whilst they haven't been great in the second half, they have surely sealed the win with one of the best goals they've scored for a while. A magnificent team goal. Kane on the end of it. Goal number 59 for his country. He scores away to Scotland again, and that should be job done.
Yeah, great football there. It was Rice's forward ball, and then Bellingham under big pressure. Great turn, and what a slide ball that was to Harry Kane. Took it on his right, just cushioned it in front of himself and slid it into the far corner with his left.
He's got so much to do there, Bellingham still. Got two Scottish players around him. He turns very well. And it's just the way to pass. The first touch from Harry Kane just opens up the complete goal there. It's an excellent goal. You're thinking, what can you do to affect it? Can you get a challenge in on Bellingham? You know, there's got to be some sort of contact there. You can't roll two men.
As I say, the kid's got some quality though, Chris, to be fair to him.
Scotland on the back of that will make a double change. Tierney and McGinn off. Stuart Armstrong has come on, and Lewis Ferguson, who's a regular for Bologna in Serie A, comes on as well for his 7th cap, like 5 of the previous 6 off the bench. 8 to go. Scotland 1, England 3. Don't know how many passes there were in that move for England, but certainly in the 20s or 30s. So many of the England players were involved in it. And Kane put it away with aplomb. His 8th goal in his last 8 games. His 2nd against Scotland. And it's his 51st goal as England captain in 61 games. His 59th goal for his country, all told. Scotland 1, England 3 on Talksport.
I think when the dust settles on this one for Gareth, he'll be looking and saying, you know what, we played some really good football on occasion, but there was that period in the second half, and if we're taking someone on later stages of a big tournament, you won't get away with a downtime in a game.
Scotland play the ball inside the penalty area now from a free kick, and Porteous coming round the back was put under enough pressure from Rice that his header couldn't hit the target. England's turn for a double change. Gallagher and Wilson are the players that are coming on. Harry Kane's number the first to come up. He will be coming off, but he's done his job, and Bellingham off as well. So Kane and Bellingham off, and Gallagher and Wilson on.
Yeah, as I say, Bellingham's been pretty solid tonight. He's played some great flashes. He probably epitomised England's performance, I think, Bellingham. Some of the best stuff went through him, and then there was that little bit of period in the second half where Scotland come back into the game, and then what was needed in the game, it was probably a better defensive shape just to see out the press from Scotland, and we just got a little bit loose.
So two of England's goal scorers have made way in this double change. The other one, Phil Foden, already off. 3-1 England lead, and it's their fans that you can now hear away to our left-hand side in the sort of 8 o'clock area of Hampden Park. If you're looking at this big bowl as a clock face, wonderful stadium, and it's been treated to a good game tonight. A free kick taken by Scotland inside their own half. Christie, he's certainly done his chances of starts down the line the world of good with this little cameo that he's produced coming off the bench. Ball goes out towards the Scottish right for Hickey, and then he goes back towards Porteous, 10 yards outside his own penalty area. Long driven ball forward from him, giving Dykes something to chase, knocked away though by Maguire. Christie might be first of the loose ball in the midfield. Phillips stuck a toe in which could divert it into Scotland territory. McTominay has it back. Hickey will take a touch and come inside and then hit the ball behind square for Jack Hendry. And Hendry now brings it forward and plays it down towards Robertson on the Scottish left. Elsewhere, incidentally, the other games in Scotland's group is still Norway 2, Georgia 0, which is going to postpone the celebrations of Scotland's qualification. The other game in that group, Spain 6 up against Cyprus. And in England's group, North Macedonia lead 2-0 in Malta. It's Italy 2, Ukraine 1. And if those results stay as they are, that means that England will only need a draw against Italy to qualify. We'll have that game for you October the 17th live on Talksport. England next in action on October the 14th when they play against Australia, and that one live from Wembley as well here on Talksport. Long ball played forward by the Scottish backline. Christie will chase it, but easy for Walker to mop up, and he'll just guide a header back for Aaron Ramsdale. 4 to go, and Scotland 1, England 3.
Well, I've got to say, Scotland very patient with it, playing across the back line. So many opportunities that they can go with quality up to Lyndon Dykes. He's moving, he's presenting himself, and it just wasn't the case. And then it's Ryan Christie that's running in behind, and that's when we decide to go. It's important with quality. Hit the big man, and then can we pick up second balls? You know, he is going to win more often than not than those aerial duels.
Dunn goes back for Ramsdale into the final 4 minutes, and the lines, remember, open for Sports Bar here on Talksport with your chance to react from either an England or a Scotland perspective. 0371722 3344. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls, and Talksport's England correspondent Faye Carruthers will be speaking to the headline makers from both sides, and we'll hear from the managers as well. All of that reaction to come with your reaction interspersed on Talksport on the Sports Bar, coming up at the conclusion of this game, which England lead 3-1. Saka has won a free kick, fouled by Robertson. Declan Rice back for Dunn. Dunn to Calvin Phillips. Phillips will go back to Dunk. Stuart, what have you made of Lewis Dunk's first performance for his country for 5 years?
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on him. I think he's done very well. He made a couple of very, very good defensive headers when we needed him in the centre of the goal, and I think on the ball he's looked more and more composed, and he fits into this England setup very well. If you're asked to deal with the ball at the back, he's certainly adept at doing that.
Well, he's got it now, and he's more than comfortable and confident of bringing it forward, and he's found Saka in turn to Walker. Callum Wilson makes an early darting run. Walker happy just to slow things down for a moment. Then Gallagher makes a run from the centre of midfield out of the right wing, but Walker doesn't look to play him in either. And England will work it backwards just to maintain easy possession. And they'll find Phillips, and then Dunk, and then Ramsdale, and then Maguire. And the ironic cheers when Maguire in possession have dissipated long since. Harry Maguire own goal tonight, but that's probably the only mistake that he's made. His distribution from the back has been excellent. They're leading it by 3 goals to 1 with Phillips now in possession.
I think Ramsdale's done himself no harm tonight. He's shown he's had nothing to do basically with his hands, but what he's done with his feet has been pretty impressive, I think.
And now Scotland will be making another change, and Jack and Patterson are the players that are going to be coming on here, Chris.
Yeah, again, it's like for like. You know, you're looking at Jack. He can just come on, likes of Callum McGregor, just sits in front, receives the ball, and can he move with it? And then Nathan Patterson, just that energy down the right hand side. You know, I think he is very, very lively, great potential, and like I say, he is going to. Well, he is a fantastic player already, but he is going to be one of the good ones.
So it is Jack for McGregor and Patterson for Hickey, two like-for-like swaps. Ryan Jack has only started one of Rangers' league games so far this season, but on for his 17th cap. And Nathan Patterson, who's an ever-present for Everton in the Premier League this season, on for his 50th. Still only 21 as well. He's got a very bright international future ahead of him. 3-1 England lead. Phillips looking the ball forward. It looks as though, unless there's a dramatic late Scottish comeback, that the trivia question is still going to be in place. Who is the last Scotland player born in Scotland to score a winning goal against England? Just give you a little bit of time to contemplate who that might have been. Last time that Scotland won a game against England, Don Hutchison, who was born in Gateshead, was the scorer of the goal. Last time that England lost in Glasgow, it was Richard Gough who scored the goal. He was born in Stockholm. England winning it back again with Gallagher in the midfield. Gallagher, just got the wrong pass in towards Wilson, who was quick to let him know. Gallagher had done the hard work there in driving forward, but he couldn't find Wilson. And the ball goes all the way through to our right-hand side. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time, there has been another goal in Norway. Ian Danter.
Interesting. Norway 2, Georgia 1 as we enter stoppage time. Budu Zivzivadze gets a goal back for Georgia, steering the ball home really neatly at the near post from across from the left. Maybe Scotland might have some good news after all. A couple of minutes of stoppage time left. Norway 2, Georgia 1.
A Georgian equaliser there, and Scotland have qualified tonight. And that would certainly lift the spirits here at Hampden Park. We are in 3 minutes of added time at the end of the game. England leading by 3 goals to 1. Dunk just flicking out towards the left-hand side. The answer to that question is that it was John Robertson, who was the last Scottish international born in Scotland to score a winner against England. The ball chipped by Ramsdale down towards the near side. Walker helping it on. Saka will chase after it and has lost out to Ryan Jack. He's been fouled. Jack claiming that he just stood his ground. Robertson helping Saka, back to his feet. And there's a free kick which will be taken on the halfway line by England's Carl Walker, who's had another excellent game tonight, Stu.
Yeah, yes. I mean, there was I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere that he was contemplating international retirement. He will be a massive loss to England when it's time to hang his boots up, as he would for Manchester City. His turn of pace just improves by the year.
Yep, Gareth has talked him out of international retirement twice, and this is still very much a boon, his presence in the England right-back position. Scotland have the ball in the midfield with the very neat and tidy Ferguson. Chance to pull the ball inside the England penalty area one last time, but far too far ahead of Lyndon Dykes, and it just goes through for Ramsdale. This one petering out. The third goal really has killed it off.
Yeah, in fairness, I don't think that's a bad ball from Ryan Christie there. I think Lyndon Dykes is a little bit frustrated. He's not seeing a lot of it at the minute. He's shown up. He's wanting the ball. He's not receiving it, but he's just got to be alive. If he makes that run there for Christie, he's definitely going to be getting on the end of it. Good quality there from Christie.
Still playing in Oslo. Still Norway 2, Georgia 1. Last knockings here at Hampden Park. Eze finding Gallagher. His one-time Palace teammate. Now it goes out towards Trippier. And Declan Rice firing a ball back to the heart of the England back line, where Dunk will be able to bring it under control. Down towards Kyle Walker. Walker with a long ball forward, inviting Saka to chase after it. Gunn coming to the left-hand side of his area, dealt with it with no threat. Forward towards Robertson. Robertson back for Hendry to Porteous, and towards the right-hand side for Patterson. Patterson turning into trouble, but fouled by Eze, and that is the last action of the game. The 150th anniversary match between Scotland and England ends in the same way as 48 of the previous 149 in an England victory, and their record in this fixture in the recent past very impressive. Haven't been beaten here on Scottish soil since 1985. A record that seemed destined to continue tonight when Foden and Bellingham scored twice in a 3-minute spell just after the half-hour mark. A Harry Maguire own goal made things decidedly interesting. Scotland missed a couple of decent chances after that, but Harry Kane was at the end of a wonderful England team move to make it 3-1. England's performance up and down. Scotland gave a good account of themselves at times, particularly in the second half. But England have got the job done. They've won by 3-1, the 600th victory of their history.
There was a big hug there from Gareth Southgate with Jude Bellingham, and any wonder that magic from him to set up that goal that sealed victory for England was very, very special indeed. He is some player. All the England and Scotland players gathering together centre circle, and hugs and handshakes all round. I've got to say, a lot of the Scotland fans left well before the end. They knew their team was beaten, and at the same time the England fans were singing Harry Maguire, he's winning 3-1, which I thought was quite fitting, because Maguire, in trying to cut out a cross, put the ball in his own net. Other than that, as Jim said in commentary, he was faultless when he came on and contributed to the England victory. Scotland 1, England 3, and I will be joining Ali McCoist and Alan Brazil, true Scots, former Scotland internationals, on the breakfast show tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So too will the former England manager Sam Allardyce. So too will the former England defender Phil Jagielka. They'll all be on the breakfast show. That's tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. on Talksport. I'm really looking forward to that, I have to say. As the England players go over to the fans in the corner away to our left, they're all still there, all still singing. They've been mainly singing songs about Harry Maguire for most of the second half, supporting the player who's been under fire, Maguire, and who was getting a bit of stick from the Scotland crowd as well. They did love his own goal. But a good performance from England in the end. Stuart Pearce, there was a spell where Scotland took control. Christie came on. I thought he was brilliant for Scotland. We'll talk about that shortly. But Gareth Southgate reacted, made substitutions, turned the game back in England's favour, and in the end 3-1 is probably just about right.
Yeah, two sides of it, I think, from Gareth's point of view. For me, when we have a look at when he has a look at the game this week with his coaches, first of it, some of the talented play was very, very good, very concisive, much better than in the Ukraine, cut through the opposition pretty well. Good balls in behind, good movement in behind. The other side of that is Scotland had momentum in the second half, and we struggled to wrestle it back off them. For me, too many players wanted to stand up the pitch and say, hang on a minute, who's going to get this back for us, and let me have another go at running at the opposition. We just have to solve that, because against better opposition, and no disrespect to Scotland, against better opposition, they'll punish you for that, and they'll send you out of tournament if you're not careful.
You've got to laugh at Scotland. Let me just tell you the picture here. Scotland's players have just tried to go around the pitch to give their fans the applause. This is a team, by the way, that's won all their qualifiers, are on the brink of qualification, and they're going round to applaud the fans, and the fans have gone home. Honestly, Chris Iwelumo, I'm a bit bewildered by that. I appreciate they've lost the game to England, and that's not a positive for Scotland. The rally in the second half was a positive, but this team's working miracles in their qualifying group, so why didn't the fans applaud that? Yeah, well, I think that just shows you what it means to the fan when they play against England. You know, the disappointment there. Yeah, you know what, they've been excellent. They've been excellent. I thought they deserved a bit better than that from the Scotland fans. I totally agree. The seats are all empty. You can see the Saltire in the stands. I'm absolutely amazed that the Scotland fans have decided to head off well before the end and not applaud their players who have given them a qualifying campaign from heaven. I'm stunned by that, honestly.
No, I totally agree. Especially with the way the atmosphere it was before and during that second half as well. You know that everyone will be disappointed. I think players as well. I don't think they give a great account of themselves tonight. I think they only came in, they had that kind of momentum in the second half because England kind of defended a little bit deeper, took the foot off the pedal a little bit, and then, like you say, they made the changes and took the game by the scruff of the neck again. So it just shows you the class of England. But like you say, we have improved. It's just, if anything, that brings us back down to the ground, doesn't it? We've got Spain up the next qualifying. We have to go and get something there to obviously qualify, and then we've got France after that. So they don't get any easier.
They don't. There possibly could have been some cause for celebration for Scotland tonight, but that wasn't to be either. They needed a draw in Oslo in a qualifier, but it didn't happen. Ian Danter.
Georgia won in the end. Scotland will have to wait till next month to secure safe passage to the Euro finals, as the drawn scoreline they craved to confirm qualification tonight just didn't happen. 2 Premier League stars with the Norway goals in the first half. Erling Haaland almost inevitably with a firm header on 25 minutes, and Martin Odegaard from 20 yards out 10 minutes later. Both goals set up by the impressive 18-year-old Antonio Nusa on the Norwegian left. Georgia left it very late to reduce the deficit. Budu Zivzivadze steering the ball home as stoppage time began at the end of the game, and Kvaratskhelia almost equalised with the last kick of the game, denied by a great save from Oya Newland in the Norwegian goal. It was so close for Scotland to actually qualify in the end, but not to be for another few weeks at least. Full time, Norway 2, Georgia 1.
And also in qualifying Group A, Scotland's group, Spain beat Cyprus 6-0. In England's Group C, Italy beat Ukraine 2-1. North Macedonia 2-up in Malta late in the game. North Macedonia are going to win that. Ukraine losing means that England against Italy at Wembley next month, if they avoid defeat, England will be confirmed qualified for the Euros in Germany next summer. And I've got to say, Stuart Pearce, I will be looking forward to seeing Jude Bellingham there. How good. We talked about him at half-time, and there's a side of his game that he maybe needs to work on, the discipline side. He got a silly yellow cards, and then he lost his mind a little bit, didn't know where to stand at a set piece. But on the ball, second half, that third goal, absolutely sensational.
Yeah, he's an exciting talent. He got himself a little tap in the first half and certainly created a goal for Harry Kane with his talent, with his strength, with his low centre of gravity. And listen, you just can't, you have to check yourself all the time and pinch yourself about what age the kid's at, you know, playing in Real Madrid. So credit to him, long may that continue.
It was a good finish from Harry Kane as well. The Scotland goal was a Harry Maguire own goal. You're reading of that. Is he just a little bit unlucky because he's trying to cut out a cross, or is it just silliness from Harry Maguire? Should he just leave it? I don't know. What would you do?
You can't leave that going across the face of the goal because you don't know what's in behind you at that stage. Maybe he could have moved his feet a little bit quicker. You know, it's the nature of it. It's a topical conversation at the moment. I think on another day you brush over it and move on, to be fair.
Can I make a comment on Bellingham? You know,
yep.
I think it's controlled. That I think it's a part of his game that I think if you look at it, you're
talking about the yellow card he got?
Not the yellow card, just how he reacts. I don't think it's a he's seen red moment. I think it's a control. I think it's part of his game that he's thinking, I need to show that I've got that emotion side as well. He's a fantastic talent, very, very intelligent player, level-headed, and I think it's controlled that. You know, I don't think that's anything to worry about. I think that if that's in a major competition, he doesn't act like this. I think it's okay. It's up against Scotland. I think as a young player, he's very level-headed. He's streets way above his years, and I just think he's trying to showcase that he has that emotion as well. And I think it's a little bit forced. I don't think that's anything to worry about from an English point of view.
So when Stuart and I talked about it in Poland, when a similar thing happened against Ukraine, lost his head a little bit. Stuart brought up the Gaza yellow card against Germany in Italia 90, which would have ruled him out the final had England made it. You don't think that would happen to Bellingham at a major tournament?
I don't think he's. I feel that he's ticking all the boxes for the quality, the talent, his in-game intelligence, and I just feel that maybe for the group of players, he's shown that he's got their back. I think for the fans, he's shown he's got that emotion. He loves playing for his country, but I think it's very, very controlled, and I think that's how good he is. I think in a major tournament, you don't see that side.
Stuart, I'm going to let you into a little secret here. I actually got quite annoyed with Jude Bellingham in that second half because just before the own goal, he's been played in on the left-hand side. He's hit a terrible ball across to Harry Kane, who's in the middle, and it's gone out, and Scotland have broken quickly. We're ambling back, and that's what's left us short, and Harry Maguire's put through his own net. So I was actually looking at Jude Bellingham thinking, just play that. It looks like a simple ball for a player of his quality. That really wasn't about Harry Maguire. It was about what we were doing at the other end and not coming back, right?
I think we went through a stage. The first half was so comfortable for us. You go in 2-0 up, you play some great football through the thirds, and all of a sudden you go out there, and I've been involved in many teams that sort of subconsciously you take your foot off the gas slightly, and that's what we were guilty of. But when you do that, and all of a sudden you've got to arrest that and understand that is the case on the pitch and say, what does the team need from me now? It needs shape, it needs compactness, it needs to arrest momentum from the opposition. So you've got to read that. Even if you're young, or the oldest player on the pitch, or the senior players, or Declan Rice has got to say to certain players, hey, Marcus, come and sit in for a while. Phil, come and sit in for a while. Jude, stop waving your hands around up behind the opposition's goal because you've hit a rogue one. Drop back in, let's get compact, wrestle momentum back, and then we go again.
I think off the back of it, I think Scotland are 2-0 down. They're taking a little bit more risks. They're a little bit more advanced, and even more so the likes of that three, Foden, Rashford, Bellingham, they have to drop deep and just basically protect for a little bit, and then once you get the control again, be expansive.
So when Scotland rallied and we said Christie was excellent, Chris, and they get the goal, were you looking at Southgate's subs thinking they're going to retake the initiative here?
Well, that's it, and they did exactly that. Eze coming on, Saka coming on, players that can get the ball, get faced up, drive, take players on, and like you say, took control of the game again. We never really shown that quality. Lyndon Dykes come on, we had opportunity to hit him with quality, and we chose just to keep possession of the ball. And when you're 2-0 down, 3-1 down, you have to take a bit of a risk.
And we should talk about Marcus Rashford, because you made some comments in the game about Marcus Rashford, Stuart Pearce, and his body language when he came off I didn't think was particularly good. And I don't know, do we expect too much? I always expect more from Marcus Rashford. I always end up feeling like he can give us more in an England shirt.
Yeah, I think he's got some of the attributes that Thierry Henry had. And when I used to watch Thierry Henry, he used to grab the game by the scruff of the neck for 90 minutes and ran you ragged, and run past people. And Marcus has got the ability to do that. I'd just like to see him do it a little bit more regularly. I really would. And sometimes I'm looking at him, and there was that period in the second half, and when the game's gone against us, and I'm thinking, you look a little bit uninterested in the game here, and we want you to spark all the time, if you possibly can. I know he's a dynamic athlete and you can't do it all the time, but I always feel as though I want a little bit more from him because he's such a talent.
Do you think Foden's proved a point as well tonight, because he was really good first half?
Certainly, I think they were all very good at the first half. Second half we dropped away, first half fantastic, and we bemoaned the performance in Ukraine, and I think this performance and our cutting edge sort of went a long way to turn around and say, hang on a minute, hey, we can learn the lessons from one game and take them into the next game.
On the Rashford, without the ball England tonight, he was coming inside, and they've been very compact with Bellingham and Foden. He likes to be expansive. Now, even when they received the ball, they were very compact, and I didn't understand that. He gets so much joy and played so well for United when he's hugging the line. He gets the ball and he creates those little 1v1 scenarios, and he's impossible to mark. So I think he was coming in. It was creating space for others, making that deep run. Bellingham was in behind, Foden was in behind, on occasion Rashford, but it was more down the line. I don't think he's comfortable coming inside, doing that and making the space for others. He wants to be out, expansive, seeing the full game in front of him and taking the game by the scruff of the neck, and but it's part and parcel. If the manager's asking you to do that, you have to do exactly that, and then when you get the opportunity to shine, you be expansive and do that.
See, if you look at the game today, what was the best way to hurt the opposition? Make a run in behind. How many balls went in behind and we got on the end of things just by a straightforward run? So that would tell me as a striker, I might have to make 20 runs to get on the end of 5 balls. I'm prepared to do that.
because you'll get the chances in front of goal. What have Scotland learned from this, Chris Willemo?
That there's a long way to go. I think, there's always going to be positives to take out of this game tonight. I think how they managed it, I don't think they were brave enough. And when the opportunity was there to play and get the ball down, I think England done very well, reacted, forced the error. The quality that we've got, we never showed that. Against Spain, we created chances. We were in the attacking third. That final pass, that final little bit of quality, we got the goal, we managed the game. Tonight we were second best all over, and I mean second balls, then winning on aerial duels, and then even down both flanks where Hickey and McTominay have been very good. Robertson and Tierney have been outstanding, probably the stronger side for us. You never really seen them link up too many times, and that's credit to England how good they were. But when we have opportunity to play, we have to get the ball down and play, and we're a little bit too frantic. All first half there wasn't many moments that we got 5-6 passes in. It was always one pass, too many touches on the ball, losing the ball again, defending. It has to be better. It's a fantastic learning curve.
So when we talked before the game about all the pundits in the papers who predicted, none of them predicted an England win. It was 4 Scotland wins and 2 draws tonight. Barry Ferguson saying he expects them to get out of the group at the Euros. Somebody else saying they're going to do something very special in Germany. Maybe they were going too far. Let's get some reaction from the England camp. Our England correspondent Faye Carruthers is with Phil Foden.
Phil, congratulations, the 3-1 win and your 4th England goal as well. How much did you enjoy that match?
Yeah, a lot. It was a special atmosphere. It's an important game for us to win. I thought the attacking players showed quality today. They all linked up really well. I think second half Scotland played a lot better. We struggled to break them down, but happy with the performance, and it's a step in the right direction.
Why was it such an important win for you? You mentioned the creativity this time. Is that the focus that you had after that match against Ukraine? Yeah,
I think we was a little bit disappointed as a group because we know the quality we have, and we didn't really show our quality against Ukraine for whatever reasons, but like I said, we was hungry today to try and make that right, and I thought the performance was top today, the way we handled it, because it's not an easy team to beat, and like I said, the attacking players showed the quality.
Clear something up for me. Was Kyle Walker's shot a shot, or did you... Go on, talk me through it.
Nah, I think he intended to shoot, but luckily I was just there ready to help it on, because the pace was on the ball, so I didn't have to do a lot, just stick my foot out, and luckily it went in. Really happy.
Just on the second goal, the link-up play between yourself and Jude Bellingham, how do you even describe what it's like playing on the pitch with a player like that? And you're smiling at me now the minute I mention his name.
Yeah, it's scary how good he is really for his age. I've never seen anything like it. He looks like the complete footballer already. Obviously I don't want to big him up too much because he's still young and got a long way to go. Obviously there's going to be ups and downs for him, but from what I see is one of the best players in the world now, so really happy to play with him, and he's someone that's important for England and the way we play.
But describe what it does to your game when you're playing with him, because it feels really instinctive and flowy when you're playing together. Yeah,
it makes it easy. He understands my game. He understands link-up play, 1-2s, where I'm going to be, and Jude's got that quality. He understands players really well, and he's easy to play with.
Brilliant stuff. Congratulations again tonight, Phil.
Thank you.
So that's Phil Foden, one of the England goal scorers, live with the Talksport's England correspondent Faye Carruthers. You can hear more reaction in the Sports Bar, which is coming up after 10. 03717 22 if you want to get involved with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. You'll hear from Gareth Southgate and from Steve Clarke during that show as well. But Phil Foden there saying Stuart Pearce, Jude Bellingham, the complete player, already world class. It's hard to disagree on what we're seeing from Jude Bellingham for club and country right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's wowed all of us, to be fair. He's a level of maturity way beyond his years, and he, as long as he's nice and level and keeps listening to his coaches and playing his part in his team, he can only get better. And if he's going to get better and replicate the Gascoignes of this world, who I think, and the Bobby Charltons, who have been the best that has ever played in England midfield, and the Brian Robsons, then England have got a very, very good chance come the major tournament.
Former England captain Stuart Pearce, thank you. Chris Willemo, former Scotland striker, thanks very much. I really enjoyed that. Listen, it's been a fantastic evening. It's been an emotional day for everyone at Talksport, and for many long-time Talksport listeners, one of the most loved figures in Talksport's rich history is a character called Giles Carruthers. Sad to report he recently passed away. There were tears shed in the Talksport studios today and here in Glasgow as well. He was a lovely man, great company, a big City fan. He would have loved Phil Foden's goal for England here tonight. So rest in paradise, kidder. He'd have loved this England win as well. A Harry Maguire own goal gave Scotland hope when they were 2-0 down, but Southgate subs turned it around. And Bellingham provided the magic, Kane the finish, and the flower of Scotland wilted. Scotland will still be going to the Euros, but maybe this was a little reality check they needed. Live on Talksport.
Faye Carruthers is with Aaron Ramsdale.
Aaron, congratulations. Another cap for you. The last time we saw you, of course, was at Molineux. How pleased were you with tonight's performance?
Yeah, extremely. It's a completely different game than the one I played at Molineux, and no game's ever the same. But to come here at Hampden Park in a hostile environment with a team doing really well, on the brink of qualifying for the Euros, and to put a performance in as a team and as an individual, I'm really happy with. And I walk away from the game and this week's camp with no regrets, and knowing that I did everything in my power to put something in the manager's mind. Hopefully for next camp we've got another friendly and another qualifier, so it's just a good ending for me, and one which I'm ecstatic about.
Stuart Pearce certainly thinks you can push Jordan Pickford all the way for that starting spot at the Euros. How desperate are you to get it? I know there's the goalkeepers union, I know how close you all are as well, but how desperate are you to be number one, and what attributes do you have to make you England's number one?
I wouldn't say desperate, because I think that's when I will start making mistakes and trying to invent work which isn't there, or reinvent the wheel, as we would say in the goalkeeping world. You can only face what's in front of you, and I think tonight that was a prime example for me. I was able to find passes with the ball at my feet, either going long or playing short, through them pressing or not pressing. And I think the fact that I play at a club who like to play from the back gives a different kind of option for the manager. But I wouldn't say desperate to play, because Jordan's the number one. He's been doing extremely well for England and Everton. I think without him, things would look different in the past few seasons. So I'm ready to take a stab and try and challenge him. But I just need to keep doing what I'm doing and keep putting myself in frame of mind for Gareth and Steve and the coaching staff come next camp. I'm not thinking about Germany.
Yeah, it's less than a month away, the announcement for the next camp, for sure. Going back to this game, there was the creative play was vastly superior to against Ukraine and Poland, but there was that 20-minute spell that looked really uncomfortable. How do you explain it from your point of view? What was going on there?
We're away from home in a hostile environment against a very good team who are 1 point away from qualifying for the Euros in their group. There was no easy game in international football, or very, very, very few easy games in international football. So when we come here, we know there's going to be times when you have to, defend, and they have good players. They have players playing Premier League, Champions League football, and as I said, one point away from qualifying. So we knew as a team we had to deal with direct play, and when they brought Dykes on, their mindset changed a little bit, and I thought we defended excellently, and we also controlled the ball excellently. But when you've got Kieran Trippier on one side who talks you through the game, and Kyle Walker who's been there, done that, and Lewis Dunk who plays a certain way for Brighton, with Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice who play the same way together, and myself who plays the same way as Declan and Calvin, it's easy for us to work through the game and control it from the back, and I thought we did that brilliantly. And we also recognised when they were man for man at the back, and Harry Kane's superb at using his body, and we're getting the runners in behind as well.
The one player you didn't mention there was Harry Maguire. Unfortunate for him with the own goal. I know you'd have preferred to have got a clean sheet. What do you want your defender to do in that point? Stick a leg out like that, or leave it?
Do what he tried. It's really unfortunate. I thought Harry was superb when he came on. People will say he's come on and scored an own goal, but if he has any doubt in his mind, I want my defender to try and clear it. It's a cross come shot. He's tried to deal with it, and 8 times out of 10 it goes behind for a corner, or he clears it. And I think every time he touched the ball, the crowd got up and made noises, and he dealt with it extremely well. Played some lovely passes, and I thought he accompanied Lewis and the rest of the back four really well. And I would want him to do that again 10 times over.
Listen, your parents are staying in our hotel. We saw them before the game. They were so nervous. Your dad actually said he was going to watch it on telly beforehand because he was nervous coming here. We'll probably have a celebratory drink with them afterwards.
Yeah, it's a lovely feeling, when I'm warming up and I get to see my dad with his hat on and my mum sat in the stands with my cousin and her husband and their little girl who are Scottish. So it's one of them where my dad, like you say, would have preferred to have not been here, but he knows he can't miss it, and I think my mum would have been kicking every ball as well, but I'm pretty sure he'll be having a drink later, so you probably will see him at the bar, yeah.
We definitely will. We'll plan it, don't you worry. See you soon, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Faker Ravers is with the England manager, Gareth Southgate.
Gareth, congratulations. Was that exactly the performance in terms of creativity and up front that you wanted?
Throughout the team, we knew what sort of environment we were coming into. We knew the best way to try to control that was through possession of the ball. We showed great composure in our build-up play, and we had a real threat once we got into the back line and in behind the back line. So, but equally the players worked incredibly hard without the ball as well. I thought all of the starting team and all the subs that came on did a brilliant job for the team.
Yeah, we picked that up in commentary. It felt like an overall really impressive team performance, and the goals were team goals as well. Was there anyone in particular that shone for you? Because there's certainly one player that everybody is talking about tonight in terms of Jude Bellingham.
He was excellent, but I thought they all were. And without the control and the composed build-up from the goalkeeper, without the composure of the centre-backs to play the ball through the team, the two full-backs were absolute warriors. They're incredible characters, the two of them. They're brilliant leaders within the group. Our two midfield players destroyed the attacking play of the opponent. They used the ball well. They won so many second balls, which people don't like to talk about, but it's a critical part of the game. And all of our attacking players were a real threat with their movement and their speed and their touch. So, yeah, I was really pleased with all of them.
When I spoke to Phil Foden a moment ago, his face lit up when I mentioned Jude's name. He loves playing with him. For the second goal in particular, that lovely back heel was just fantastic to watch. Is Jude Bellingham, because this is what Phil and I were talking about, is he one of the best young players that England have ever produced?
Well, he's on a really good path, and he's the thing that I love the most is he's a real competitor, and you see that he's come into a really hostile environment. We talked before the game. We knew the anthem would be booed, and we wanted that to give us more energy. And he would be one that would respond to that. I saw him standing when it was being played, and I could see his body language. So, he's incredibly mature. There's still areas of his game that can improve, and it's our job to push him because we think with all of our players, we don't want to be backing off them because their reputations are growing and their personalities are growing. We've got to keep pushing. We want to keep improving as a team.
Is there something, and I've spoken to you about this before, he's 20 years old, he's very passionate, he can be a tiny bit hot-headed at times, and we saw a couple of pushes, one of them he got a yellow card for. Is that something that you'll leave to the senior members of the team to talk to him about, or will you pull him aside and mention it?
No, we talked about it at half-time because him and Calvin were on yellow cards, and one of the ways for Scotland to get back in the game might have been that the crowd respond to a tackle or a melee so we needed to be in control of that. But I think if I think of all of the top midfield players over the year, they all had that edge, so we also don't want to curb that.
Final question for you. It's on Harry Maguire. Unfortunate for the own goal, but of course then that just continues the narrative, and there's talk at the moment on the phone in that we've got a couple of people suggesting perhaps his lack of match fitness is why he was a little bit slow to that. What did you make of it?
Well, one of our players comes onto the field and the opposing fans react as they do, I'm fine with that in terms of the Scotland fans. Why is that created? By the ridiculous comments that persist around the player. It's a joke. He's been one of England's most important players in a period of English football where we've got as close as anything for 50 years to doing well. He's been a stalwart within that, and I think our fans were brilliant with him tonight because they recognised that actually he's ours. We should be protecting him, not throwing him under the bus. So, you know, the senior players in our group are so important to us, and they're so undervalued at times outside, but they're not by the players in the dressing room. I think he's come and spoken to the media tonight, which shows the balls that he's got and the resilience he's got, because he's prepared to front up. I've got huge admiration for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you very much and congratulations. 3 weeks till the next squad announcement. See you then.
Thanks, Faye. Cheers.